Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
You know, I got to give a shout out to the first in the building. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. What they do, what's good. Salute to you. The GOAT is here, live and living color. We ready and waiting, OG. Hey, everyone else that's on deck, appreciate you. Salute. One love. You know what I'm saying? On deck in the building. I gotta get to this grease though. I gotta get to this grease. Real talk. I have to get it popping. I gotta cook. Definitely gotta break protocol as usual. This right here, I need for you all to get the likes up because I'm about to educate the ones that's sitting up here spreading freaking lies on Bud Crawford's performance. You know what I'm saying? We only have 11 likes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man. You know, I'll start cooking. You know, when it get like 20 likes in the building, man, you know what I'm saying? Because this is something that you need to understand behind the scenes and how everybody just be talking. They don't go to fights. They don't have phone numbers. They don't have contacts. They claim they do, but they don't. It's about to get real greasy. You know what I'm saying? It's about to get educational. For real, it's about to get educational. Seriously, we have to get educational today. We have to let them know that we're capable of educating them. So when the likes get up, man, we're gonna start kicking this off. Seriously, we're gonna start kicking this off, and I know you're gonna enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about the it's a virus that's going around the YTC in light of what we just witnessed July 29th. And it has to do with individuals who have mental health issues. They seem like they in pretty decent condition, but when they get on the YTC and talk about situations that they seen play out in front of them, they're unwilling to accept. Their alter ego is telling them, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Their alter ego is influencing them to think otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Multi-personalities. These persons, hey, I talked about this before. Multi-personalities, y'all. When you have individuals on here with different personalities and you asking yourself, you can't be serious. You can't be serious now. That's not what we saw. You can't be serious. Seriously. That's where you're going with this. That's the angle that you're going to go with. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we're about to go on another ride. You know what I'm saying? I got 21 likes in. Let me start you off with this audio. We're going to have a sequence of audio and visual. Okay? And we're going to talk about a situation that's going on the YTC that needs to be talked about in a manner for which I know you all will understand. I know you will. You know what I'm saying? It's not exposing no one. It's verifying. It's not exposing. It's simply verifying. That's all. It's verifying. It is verifying. That's what we're doing. So let me take back a little back in time when we was having the fish fry, when we was on here cooking, the hottest chat in the game. You know what I'm saying? Now we was topping it up. Let's go back in time for a little bit.
I'm gonna break his will. I'm gonna break his mental, his physical. Shit, I probably break his spiritual. I'm gonna break everything. You know, he gonna be broken. It's gonna be the first time. It's gonna be like them trying to break Kuta Kinte. It's gonna.
Y'all remember that, right? This is what they don't want to bring up when they start coming up with all these lies. These cowards, they don't want to talk about this man saying he was going to break Crawford every which way. You know what I'm saying? He was going to break him 3 ways. Oh, yeah. It's going to be the first time Crawford get broken. And he was going to break him like Kunta Kinte. You know what I'm saying? So this is what's left out of the criticism that you're hearing on the YTC with these individuals coming up with all these false accusations, right? We're going to go through a period of literacy because I'm dealing with some intelligent human beings, but I'm also reaching out to the mental health patients that have since locked themselves in a white padded room, unable and unequipped with the resources to help them get through this loss and defeat. You know what I'm saying? To have ebbs and flows like this on the YTC, believing that this guy who just said he was going to beat Crawford 3 ways, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and to see how it played out, I want to remind people that these individuals need my help. They've been watching the hottest chat in the game. They know that y'all been putting comments in there, and those comments, man, has been slicing them up. You know what I'm saying? It's been sharp, razor-like. And they don't like when y'all prove that you have common knowledge on what you're saying. Not just we was on the winning, we was on the winning team for sure. But leading up to there, we pretty much stayed on track with what we knew that was going to happen. We stayed on track. It wasn't no carnival. It wasn't a circus over here. We wasn't creating storylines, no crazy ass, false storylines that no one can believe. But this next piece of audio deals with Manager Marty's co-host. Manager Marty, if you're listening, you lied to me, brother. I've spoken to you before, and you told me straight that you wasn't a Bud Crawford hater. You told me that. So since you lied to me and you wasn't honest, then I have every right per the business of the YTC, my business, to speak on why I feel that you have taken a dark road. You know what I'm saying? A dark road, and you have abandoned the respect of people that was looking at you in that area that you was talking about. They have since left because now you're blending in with a lot of other channels that is talking frivolous. You know what I'm saying? It's just shameful at the end of the day that what you have decided to commit yourself to is conduct unbecoming, bro. I never would have thought you, of all people, would have lied to my face and say you wasn't a Crawford hater when you knew deep down inside you were. So let me get to your co-host right quick. I want you all to basically tune in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I can't make this up. You know what I'm saying? So let's listen to D-Town, not Detroit D-Town, but D-Town Boxing. And the reason why I can bring D-Town, because D-Town was definitely leaving messages and commenting on my videos talking about how I was going to be this, that, and the other after the fight was over with. You remember that, D-Town. Don't let me give you the receipts. Brother. But let me introduce you to this guy because he's the co-host. So in order for Marty to speak what he's speaking, he has to have others in the presence, his company, to believe what he believes. They're called followers. Listen to this follower.
It hurt because your mouthpiece come out. I mean, Earl Spence already let us know that his mouthpiece wasn't a great mouthpiece in his mouth. So I mean, I think people just throwing around hurt like a frisbee or some fried toast or whatever the case might be. So I don't believe he was hurt. I believe people just using it the wrong way. I think his mouthpiece came out. He already told us that it was not fit to his mouth. So I mean, he already clarified that up. And second of all, Terrence Crawford showed us his skills against lower level competition. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, me personally, I'm still trying to figure out what Terrence Crawford is about. You feel me? I mean, you telling me that him fighting David Avenesia, him fighting
So I just want to pause it right there. The D-Town has once again mentioned low level. That is a term often used by Marty. Okay, often used by Marty. Now, in other circumstances, I would call him Manager Marty, but not in this case. I just call him Marty because, you know, he has absolutely manipulated those into believing that he's strictly about the business when now he has become the YTC Inquirer. Yeah, it's unfortunate, Marty. You have become the YTC National Enquirer. You want to blend in with the gossip too. You want to blend in. We're going to get to you, but I got to get your co-host first. You know what I'm saying?
Jose Benavidez, him fighting Jeff Horn, him fighting Amir Khan and stuff. You telling me that those fights showed me what Terrence Crawford was about? I mean, I don't understand what people looking at. Anybody's supposed to look superior against somebody who's not on his level. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't, matter of fact, we trying to figure out what Terrence Crawford can do against an elite fighter.
You heard this. This is from D-Town. Oh, how sweet that euphony is. Isn't that a harmony that you would like, their hottest chat in the game? Don't you like to hear this type of chorus that played out so much? Come on, chat. Didn't we hear this play out over and over again before this fight took place? Didn't we hear it? We heard this play out, right? Yes, we did. So he's pretty much saying that Crawford, you know what I'm saying, fought mediocre, subpar, marginal competition, right? Per the perfect supercalifragilisticexpialidocious opponents from Top Rank, because Top Rank matched him up perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't seen Crawford. We can't, you know, they said they couldn't give him a grade. They couldn't give him a grade because he's fought mediocre competition. Furthermore, since they couldn't give him a grade, they didn't know what he would do against elite competition. And that's where Errol Spence Jr. comes in. Because being that Errol Spence was behind Terrence Crawford on every pound for pound list you can review, this wasn't enough. See, that's where the mental come in there. The fragmentation and deficiency in the gray areas that don't light up anymore, that's the area that I'm in right now. The stormy fog, you know what I'm saying, area that it just doesn't light up the way it's supposed to. You know how they say we wired different? This is a perfect case of this guy being wired, and there's a disconnect where the thought process of common sense supposed to jump that synapses gap and come back with a thought to a response. So he ping, and he's supposed to get a ping reply. He don't get a reply. You know what I'm saying? The reply is supposed to say, "Hey, stupid, come on now. You can't do that. You can't talk like that." Let's continue though.
It's a reason why he stayed with Bob Arum. It's a reason why he didn't fight Yordanis Ugas. It's a reason why he didn't fight Danny Garcia. It's a reason why he tried to lowball Sean Porter and give him $1 million till he didn't want to fight him. It's a reason why he didn't fight Keith Thurman. It's a reason why he avoided these guys, because he was going to get exposed the same way he did back in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? So it's a reason why. If he felt like he could have beat those guys, he would have did it when he moved up to 147 instead of complaining or re-signing with Bob Arum. So so what I'm saying is that I'm not saying Terrence Crawford is a trash fighter. I'm not saying that. But I seen more from Errol Spence to let me know that his ring IQ is up there. I believe Terrence Crawford is he has a little bit more speed, more twitch, but we know that time and beat speed and things like that. And I think if anybody gonna get beat up, it's gonna be Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford has no defense. If his defense is mainly just moving around like this, that ain't no defense compared to a guy who could fight on the inside. And we know that Terrence Crawford going to have to fight on the inside. And we seen what happened when he got clipped by Gamboa on the inside. We seen what happened when he got knocked down by Mean Machine on the inside. Terrence Crawford is not a great inside fighter, so he's going to have to stay on the outside. And we also know that Earl Spence can box. He went further in the amateurs than Terrence Crawford. And just because Earl Spence don't use it don't mean he don't have it. So we know Earl Spence can box, and we know he can fight on the inside. Terrence Crawford can't fight on the inside.
It's just something about the word can't that bothers me. Doesn't the word can't inflame you just a little bit like poison ivy? You remember as a kid, some of you that played outside like myself, and you ran into poison ivy, you're like, damn, why I'm itching? Because you got a little rash on you. And then, you know, your parents tell you, oh, you must have been back there playing. That's poison ivy. Let me put some calamine lotion on that. You can't put calamine lotion on this. This is not a rash. This is an infection. This is a natural born and bred infection. When you hear these people talk the way they do on the YTC, they are convinced prior to the fight that this is exactly, how adamant they was. You know what I'm saying? How adamant. This was live and living color, y'all. This was what you was hearing play out prior to the T-Mobile massacre. I'm trying to explain to you as if I was in front of the cameras, dressed in a suit, giving you the 12 o'clock a.m. news. Breaking news. Errol Spence has just caught a body. Another one. Again. This is tragic. Donnie, take us away. This was it right here. Did you say that he couldn't fight on the inside? Did you say he don't have good defense? Oh my God. We got to keep it going because I got to get to Marty.
Only a mid-range and on the outside fighter. And we know that it's going to come a time where, Earl Spence, he could throw a jab, he could close the distance all at once and be on you like an extra small tank top.
Okay. I can't allow too much of that to, take up my time. I want to get to a recent live that Marty did, right? You know what I'm saying? I want to get some clarification and specification because per the history, you know what I'm saying, we can pull out the facts outside the opinion. We can pull out the facts. You know what I'm saying? When you accuse somebody of something, then we have to go to the definition. We have to go to what brought that about to falsely accuse or insinuate these accusations to once again smear this man's name in such a highlighted event. This man won fair and square. He won. You know what I'm saying? He was victorious. So let's get to what a lot of people is wanting to hear. Let me bring this up right quick.
Recordings just got better.
Spence failed.
Hold on for a second.
And I'm still waiting for an answer. So I'm here on Sunday asking the same question again. Was there VADA testing in this fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford? Anybody can answer that question. It don't mean that just because you are a Crawford fan that question is directed to you. Doesn't mean just because you're an Errol Spence fan that question is directed to you. It doesn't mean that. I just want to know, was there VADA testing in the biggest fight of probably the last decade? Testing in this fight.
So this is Marty asking, was there any VADA testing, which pretty much is irrelevant to the outcome of this fight, because due to everything that people listen to and know is that you can be juiced to the gills, as they call it. And still, when it comes to your brain, whatever you put in your bloodstream is not going to teach you how to box. I would think somebody that's been around boxing as Marty would know that. Why you're bringing this up as if it enhances someone's ability to be able to close distance, create angles, move, speed. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's not proven that whatever, the accusations trying to be made about Vada. I mean, you have to look at it this way. You have commissions in place. You have promoters that have these commissions work for. You know what I'm saying? You have all these protocols and formats in place for boxing, period. They have all these formats in place. So when people start, they was going for a particular fighter that for whatever reason, they was all full speed, committed, all in, just like poker. They was all in. And then they didn't get what they wanted on the river. You feel me? They didn't get what they wanted on the river. They lose it all because they bet it all. They said all in and they lost it. Not only did they lose all that monetary revenue, they lost their sanity. It's a lot that went into the way Crawford carried out that act of violence, that assault, and that doesn't sit with them. But the one thing I'm trying to let the people know, I want you to hear what these individuals, the extent they can go to. They say they're not haters of Crawford, but now they want to know about VADA testing. But Marty was the same one that was saying that what is Crawford going to do when Errol Spence gets a hold of him? What is he going to do? You know what I'm saying? What is he going to do when it comes to a point where Errol Spence is pressuring him? Let me switch up the flow a little bit. I'm going to take you back to a little piece of the puzzle, and I want you to hear this now. How confident, right?
Because I know how you like to get down.
Yeah, scale of 1 to 10. Yeah, scale of 1 to 10.
I would say Crawford's defense. I would say Crawford's defense is a solid 8. Yeah, I'm gonna say 8 because I only see him. I don't really see him making mistakes unless he's doing something to make that mistake. I haven't seen those fights. I really don't see nobody making him make a mistake. If per se.
You saw that Mean Machine fight.
Well, hold up. I'm gonna eat my words. The first time Porter caught him, he made him.
You out of there.
Hold up. I remember the fights that I watched. I remember the fights that I watched last night, and I remember Porter. Hold up. Porter did catch him in that. He caught him. You know what I mean? He trapped him into that. But I don't see really fighters making him make a mistake like that. Like forcing him to make, you're gonna have to. It's like you gotta force him, or he's gonna have to do something that, you know what I mean. Like he tried to say, I heard him after the fights, or I try to please the crowd, try to give the crowd what they wanted. You can't always do that.
Well, he better not try to do that with Errol Spence. That'll cost him.
So Marty, you just said he better not try that with Errol Spence because it would cost him. Marty, that's what you said. You said. You was trying to make a point to a guest on your panel that don't try that type of fighting style with Errol Spence because it was cost him. And I'm curious to know what was the cost. What was the cost exactly? I'm just curious. What did you warrant or deem effective to be the cost, the value of Crawford fighting Errol Spence the way you believe that would get him in some type of danger? You know what I'm saying? What was the cost of that? I'm not sure I understand what the cost was. I don't think you truly understood what the cost was. I think, just like I told you before, I believe your mind is fueled with a vendetta for some apparent reason, ulterior motives as to why you're looking at this. A person that's supposed to be embedded in boxing. You are paying attention to the wrong things previously. You're paying attention that Bud Crawford can do hardly anything right, and that Errol Spence was the fighter that you was going for supporting, and his skill level was that of a different level than Crawford's. I get it. You felt that Errol Spence had fought the better competition, and you have mentioned previously before, try to get people to run with narratives that Top Rank had really good matchmaking. You said Top Rank had really good matchmaking. Top Rank, in your words, had really good matchmaking. So I was expecting you to stick with the matchmaking part. And just if you heard on my previous lives, I said, well, this should be a pretty easy fight for Errol Spence because Bud Crawford, per manager Marty, has mentioned that he fought low-level competition and that he was matched very well while he was at Top Rank. So therefore, with the lineup that we have witnessed on his boxing ledger, should not and could not have added up to the value to be able to go in there in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena and compete with an elite fighter who you're bigging up, you was praising, you was giving him all the plaudits in the world that he was going to go in there and destroy Terrence Crawford. You all believe that due to look, this is how I looked at it, Marty. How can a fighter like Crawford develop with low-level opposition? How can he continue to improve to go in there and compete against a fighter that like Errol Spence is up here just getting all this praise for putting fighters in the hospital? One fighter, like it's a lot of fighters that go to the hospital because they have insurance and they and whatever medical condition, they have to have it documented. Okay, so we know that to be true. So it's plenty of fighters that go to the doctor for whatever reason. If it's an elbow, shoulder, whatever, eye, cut, whatever the case may be, right? So being that you totally understood and you believed in what you were saying, let's continue.
You saw the Mean Machine fight again last night, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that when Mean Machine hit him on the inside, when they did that small little exchange, you think that was a knockdown? You think Terrence Crawford got knocked down or no?
All right, so my thoughts.
So pretty much what you get is Marty will ask you a series of questions. And, he will ask you these questions where, he tries to coach the listener into what the answer is due to who he's supporting heavy. That's what you're getting right here. So he will ask you a number of questions, and, he would try to make it seem like it all ties back in to the business. This has nothing to do with business except mind your business. And that's what I'm doing. I'm minding my business by talking about a situation that can be addressed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go too much in detail because his gifts right there, he wasn't strong enough to stand on his square. He was being flooded out, what I'm saying, by the current of those heavy loaded, leading questions. So let's go back to the one that everybody's talking about, right? Let's go back to Crawford's performance is highly suspicious. Let's go back. Be patient. We're going to get into some things, right?
According to what I know about this business, according to what I know about this sport, I personally don't believe that there was VADA testing in this fight. And when I say VADA testing, I am referring to both fighters, both Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford, being subject to VADA testing. But I could be wrong. That's why I'm asking you all.
You see what I'm talking about? Like he'll say, I could be wrong. It's a game to Marty. When people talk to you like that, they're just putting fillers out there or whatever to get you. Because pretty much what he's saying is for the business of boxing, somehow, some way, that has to do with VADA testing. He always ties that in to the business has to do with his opinion. No, it's your opinion. It's not based off fact. It's your opinion. It has nothing to do with business, brother. Let me tell you something that you couldn't answer. No, it wasn't no VADA testing. Okay. What does VADA stand for? Voluntary. VADA stands for voluntary. In case someone's trying to, be a passenger as he drive this into a freaking head-on collision. There was no VADA testing. Who cares if it was VADA testing or not, right? Why should VADA testing even be a topic of discussion? Okay, let me tell you why. Because a situation went down between two fighters, and per the YTC, there was different energy. You had both sides. You have different energy. One from the Crawford side, one from the Spence side. Okay, it was different energy. When it came down to building up this fight, we have seen the ebbs and flows on this YTC shit, man, good and bad. Mostly the storm. It was turbulent. It was so much bad precipitation talking about this fight to when it went up to the T-Mobile and we finally got the walkouts and the fighter introduction. What we witnessed in there for the Crawford fans, we was jumping up in jubilee. You know what I'm saying? Excitement. I mean, we was happy as we could be because we knew that this beatdown was only imminent, and it finally went down. For the Errol Spence, the pro Errol Spence fans, not so much, because they are still like shocked. Like, first of all, they was in some type of hypnosis heading into this fight. They believed everything these clickbait ass channels put out there, all these freaking stories, these guys who tell stories on Crawford. They sit up there and read you that bedtime story all the time. Crawford ain't did this. He got low-level competition. He ain't fought nobody. Spence was an Olympian. Spence freaking stronger than he is. He's a bigger fighter. He's man down. He's the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? He put cats in the hospital. But all of a sudden, he gets dominated, decimated, dismantled. After the fight, they take back to social media after going through a period of the first phase of depression, right? They don't know how to handle it. They're looking at all the dang, live streams that's out there. They're listening to WCS rub it in their eyeballs with vapor rub. They're mad as hell at something they can't change, y'all. Pay attention to where he's about to go, which is absolutely distasteful in my opinion. It shows it's not even having anything to do with sportsmanship, to be honest with you. It just has a lot to do with what we knew that was on the YTC. And that's individuals that consider themselves or pretend to be boxing fans, but all they are casuals. They're not real boxing fans. All they are is somewhat agitators. Whatever process it takes to get views to your channel, that's what would happen. And this is a perfect case of that. You know what I'm saying? This has nothing to do with the business. This has something to do with false accusations, lies. You know what I'm saying? Trying to lead people to think this, which is bad, man. It's extremely bad. And I didn't think, Marty of all people was stooped to this level. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think he was stooped to this level, but he did.
Okay. Now, I want to.
I'm going to be fast forwarding this periodically.
Expertise to educate the boxing question of why did Terrence Crawford go hook up with Victor Conte? The people are asking this question. They might not be publicizing it, but they ask.
So therefore, what he was saying, because something is wrong with his audio, but the question that he proposed to his listeners was, why did Terrence Crawford go hook up with Victor Conte? Why is that question surfaced now, especially coming from him? And once again, people, this has nothing to do with the business. It had nothing to do with anything. So don't fall for the trap. Let's go to the first slide. He wants to know why Crawford signed up to Snack. Snack is from the founder, Victor Conte. We already know what happened in his history, but they allowed that man to come back after doing time and still have a business and a way of living. Snack stands for Scientific Nutrition for Advanced Conditioning. Now, Of course, what manager Marty is trying to infer is that there's some supplements. You know what I'm saying? This man's already went to prison. He has did time for one of the biggest scandals in professional sports, right? Dealing with performance enhancing drugs. This man has did his time. But there are several fighters, even in his own backyard, who are a part of Snack. But yet his target is Terrence Bud Crawford. And I told this guy, I said, somebody told me that the reason why you are angry the way you are is a simple fact that, you know, you tried to work with Crawford earlier. I don't know how true it is, allegedly, and you was denied. And he asked me who told me that. And of course, I wasn't going to tell him who told me, but, you know, it kind of makes sense as to why he is so interested in putting forth so much effort into breaking this man down and smearing his name. So he said, the people. Marty asked and said, the people. P-E-opal. People. Right? He said the people wanted to know. And I have to ask Marty, what is these people? Because when it comes down to the numbers, and this number is that number, and the business over here, the business over there, now I want to get into a different lane. We need clarification with the specification. I need to know the people, the men, women, and children of a particular nation, community, or ethnic group. Where are these people? Phantom people? You know what I'm saying? Where are these group of people? Are there documentation, consensus? Are we just going off a hope and a dream? Are we going off what we did in 2022 when you all was claiming that there was a contract out there and nobody could produce paperwork? Where are these people? Do they even exist? Are they in the physical form, or they just a part of your, they're just a figment of your imagination? Come on now, work with me now, because I'm minding my business there, Marty. When you are putting this information out here and you say a suspicion, where are these people who influence you? A person that has made it perfectly clear you are a part of boxing. Where are these people that you're talking about that are curious about the snack program when Bud Crawford joined the snack program? I need to know. The hottest chat in the game needs to know. We need answers. We need answers, brother. Let me take a moment so I can get me some agua. We really need answers. We really need answers. That's all. We need answers. That's all we're asking for. Let me continue. I want to know who these people are, because Marty continued to mention the people want to know. Like, if you are saying those individuals are co-signing and they are in agreement with your topic of discussion as to curious about Terrence Crawford joining Snack, then you need to give clarification to the specification. Why I mind my business.
He did to Spence, and how far to engage on this. Let's talk about it. This is why we're here today. Let's speak on it. Excuse me, y'all. Now, I am trying the best that I can to get Mr. Victor Conti on the channel, to ask him about VADA protocol, to ask him about the prevalent use of PEDs in this sport, to congratulate him for serving his time. This is not me just bringing this up. This is public.
When you hear people, you know, I have a option on whether I want to be sarcastic or not, and a lot of times I tell a story with sarcasm. This is obviously him taking on a role of being sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? And which it doesn't bother me that he's being sarcastic. I'm just explaining to you, the listener, right? And my point is, it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. It's just fluff, to be honest with you. All of a sudden, if you go back to his catalog, Marty's catalog, he didn't have no concern about no Victor Conte. He wasn't concerned about anything, because if I wanted to take the role of Marty, I would have listened to what they had to say, and I would have been talking about snack. I would say, well, I wonder if somebody passing off some snack to Spence. I wonder if he's getting his share of snacks when he was leading up to fight Yordenis Ugas. I wonder was he was getting some snacks, since, you know, this seems to be your angle. You know what I'm saying? This is the angle you're taking. You want to talk to Victor Conte to come on your show for what? There's no proof as to him coming on your show as if he has anything to do with Crawford going in there with his team. Because Bomac said this, Marty. He say, you haven't went up against me nor my staff. So now, being a person of boxing, like you say you are, why are you excluding what his team has built him into? Right? Because that's what Derrick James said, Marty. Crawford was a built fighter. Errol Spence was a developed fighter. In order for you to be developed, you have to have the right components in place, Marty. Right? So therefore, since Bud Crawford had low-level competition, we excluding his team because they really had limited duties, because he was in there facing guys that was lower skill set than himself. So Bud Crawford didn't have to do much. All he had to do is show up at the gym every now and then, you know what I'm saying, hit some mitts, hit the bag, you know, run about 3 miles. That's it. Jump rope for about 5-10 minutes. And then he can go on about his business, because he was facing, per the matchmaking of Top Rank, low-level competition. You emphasize that, Marty. You emphasize that. Now it's quite different. You want to all of a sudden take another angle, which was distasteful, despicable. That once again, I have my brothers. Being that I've broken bread with you, bro. Being that you told me you wasn't a Crawford hater after I told you, since you came onto this YTC, majority of your live streams have been about Crawford and Blue Blood Sports. I told you that. And you lied and say you wasn't a Crawford hater. But now the exposure is evident. Period. Let's continue.
Record. Most of us know that Victor Conte served time in prison. If you don't know, I don't want to give a background on this story. That's why I would love for him to come join the platform so that he can speak on his own story. But he did time. He served time in prison. You see many fighters who are sponsored by Victor Conte's snack program because they are a part of the program. They are a part of the program to help them enhance their performance in the ring, to help them enhance their training regimens.
So now we're talking about fluff again. Now we transition over to identity. When you speak of other people that may potentially be involved with a program to enhance their performance in the ring, once again, being a person of interest yourself that says they're close to the sport of boxing, you yourself understand that when you're developing fighters, how does that work? They have to have a team, they have to have a coach, a trainer, and everything else, right? So you have to build them up. Building and development is the same thing, right? So you have to have constant remediation, training. That's what you have to have. So these other people you're talking about that may potentially be a part of this program, what are their identities? Do you have their identities? Can we identify the definition of identity? The fact of being who or what a person or thing is. Can you just give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's stop at 9. I love 9, especially on July 29th. It was so many nines in there. I love it. 9 is a special number to me. I swear to you, 9 is such a special number. July 29th, round number 9. Oh my God. An hourglass could never be in love. I could never be more in love with an hourglass. You know what I'm saying? This is something I foretell to myself. But Marty, we need some identity. You said people, no identity. No identity, no names. Now you're talking about athletes that is a part of this program. All of a sudden, we have a recorded win in the record books, and we also have recorded pictures that are circulating around here of Errol Spence being beat, broken, battered, and dispensed. And it's hard for you to deal with. I get it. Moving on.
There's a whole program that Victor Conti put together to be able to make sure that these fighters and athletes in general do it the right way, as far as the supplements that they take, the powder substance that they take. This all legal.
Once again, I need, for my listeners, identity. Like, what is this powder? And furthermore, I will go on to say, Marty, you don't have evidence of this powder, nor do you have a list of ingredients that is pertinent to this particular supplement that you are speaking about to claim that Bud Crawford potentially took or ingested. You're speaking on a thought and a prayer based off a situation you cannot change. You cannot change what happened July 29th. You can only hit the replay button and roll the tape because it was brutal. It was vicious, and it ain't gonna change that 40. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Can you present us documentation on this powder substance that you're talking about? Can you show us a list of what is not allowed in boxing, and also what the powder substance entails that falls beneath the snack umbrella? Can you provide us with the list of substances, please? While you're speaking on that, that has to be the business. That has, as a manager, you will want to know if snack approaches your fighter and they want them to take the supplement, and you know there's plenty other fighters on snack. You, as a manager, per the business, will ask for documentation of every supplement and also mirror those supplement ingredients up to the banned substance list of violations per boxing, and make sure per your fighter who's about to be a sponsored fighter on the snack doesn't put themselves in the predicament of testing positive, right? You have not produced anything on this live stream, but yet you are encouraging the listeners to think there may be suspicion on why Bud Crawford beat Spence up the way he did. Shame on you, brother. Shame on you.
What I'm saying is legal. The snack program is legal. You know what I mean? So people are asking, why did Terrence Crawford hook up with Victor Conti in the first place? If Terrence Crawford is as skilled and talented as he is.
See, this is where the respect goes out the window, Marty. You're not being honest. You're playing. You're acting like you're a member of the circus now, brother. You came on this scene of the YTC and you was trying to convince people that, yeah, you knew about the business of boxing, which you do have common knowledge. This isn't the business of boxing. Now you're showing your dead space on where your knowledge does not extend out to. Now you're willing to say, I will commit to making false accusations about a fighter that I don't like. How all of a sudden It's all about Snack and the people. You want to know who the people are? You're the sole individual that's requesting this. You and alone to the other channels that's trying to pass this off as Crawford being a cheater. Why? I ask. I have to ask why. Why all of a sudden you have taken on this role to try to say, oh, I want to put this suspicion out there on Crawford. Where is the documentation? Who are these people? Prove to us they are people. Let us know their identity, right? And then we need some type of proof, evidence, per the accusations that you're trying to imply of Crawford's last 3 fights. You're trying to say, oh man, all of a sudden, his last 3 fights are in question. No. You can't be serious. Hold up for a second. Let's go back a little bit.
So that he can speak on his own story. Drugs and steroids, because there are several people that have been asking the question of why did Terrence Crawford go hook up with Victor Conte?
Like I wrote, we continue to refresh you all's memory. What people? This is not the numbers game. This is where it gets a little bit deep. It might be a little bit outside your scope. It might be a little bit outside your scope, because this one I'm gonna ask you for documentation per the business. Where is your documentation, and who did you speak to clarify the people, the identity? Clarification for specification, specification for clarification. Where is it?
The people are asking this question. They might not be publicizing it, but they ask. They want to know. Inquiring minds just want to know. And so I am using my platform to provide a voice for both perspectives. Both. Because I like to be fair around here now. Y'all know that. I like to just keep it 100 and be fair. The question is, why did Bud Crawford hook up with Victor Conte in the SNAC program, SNAC? You see many fighters who are sponsored by Victor Conte's SNAC program because they are a part of the program. They are a part of the program to help them enhance their performance in the ring.
My question to you, Marty, once again, clarification for specification. I want to know, how did those fighters even begin with SNAC, first of all? If they wasn't with them, they had to be somewhat presented or introduced per their team about the program. And then it had to be a meeting, so much to the point where it was approval process based off Victor Conte and their team getting together and saying it was okay for their fight to be sponsored. So all of a sudden, of all the fighters that's been sponsored from all ethnicities, there's so many ethnicities, right? It's been sponsored by SNAC. All of a sudden in 2023, Marty is curious about Crawford. This is what we're talking about in what's been going on out here at the YTC, and how you have black extremists who are hell-bent on talking about one fighter, when they have a fighter in their backyard that they need to be focusing on, that's very talented, and in the future that may become a part of SNAC program. They're not thinking ahead like WCS, huh? That fighter or fighters, because I know it's a fighter. I'm gonna let you do your homework. It's a fighter already in your backyard that was a SNAC fighter. If he's not still a SNAC fighter, he definitely was a SNAC fighter. That is a person of interest that you can source and provide you more credibility. He can provide you with the way he felt when he took the supplement, how it made him perform in training, the quick recovery process. You know, he maybe have some old containers laying around where you could have brought on your live and say, listen, I got this from a fighter from this particular gym. And once again, Marty, it's no need to hide, because you said it was what? Legal. LEGAL. AL, legal. So you can take a legal container with legal ingredients and you can read it off to the listeners and let us see. You know what I'm saying? Being that we don't know what 99% of those ingredients are, you can read them off and like give us a visual of what the container looks like. And in the process, maybe Victor Conte can see that you have one of his containers and you're curious about the ingredients, and he can hit you up in Twitter and say, hey, thanks for doing a live on my container. Now I just want to ask you this. What direction you trying to go with this? Because it's legal, like you said, but yet you're trying to make it seem like if a fighter participates in a snack, they're ingesting illegal ingredients, illegal supplements that goes against the substance, the banned substance, you know what I'm saying, of boxing. That means Marty is trying to insinuate that if there was no VADA testing, the reason is per Terrence Crawford's last 3 opponents, he may potentially have been on snack. Now, that raises a red flag because there are plenty of other fighters on snack. So per my thumbnail, when you make these accusations, you're absolutely you're placing an umbrella, a canopy over these other fighters that are also in the program that you refuse to mention. You're only dead set in targeting. You're targeting on bullying Terrence Bud Crawford. You are targeting and bullying Terrence Bud Crawford by making an accusation, a charge or claim that someone has done something illegal or wrong. You are trying to insinuate the physical force for which he authoritated July 29th was due to some type of enhancement per his last several fights. That's what you are inferring. That's what you want your listeners to believe, that Crawford, no way, no how, could go in there and beat your fighter. And the unfortunate part about it is that you nor your co-host D-Town has ever told your people that per boxing, you was going to go out to world-class boxing furniture store and get some footage, get some media footage. You never told anybody of that. All you did is stay on the platform and have a hope and a prayer. Don't nobody want to hear that. You don't have no credible evidence to prove and adjudicate this accusation that you're putting out there. You have none, brother. And it's unfortunate.
To help them enhance their training regimens. And so I am using my platform to ask themselves, isn't Jerron Boutinnis in the snack program? Isn't Caleb Plant in the snack program? Isn't Demetrius Andre, isn't he in the snack program? And the reason why people might ask that question is because if you go on Snack's Instagram page, you'll see pictures highlighting the fighters and the athletes that they have under their stable. But that's not why people are saying.
That's not why they're interested, huh? Because you don't want them to be interested in mentioning those names you did. Why you didn't mention more, I don't know. But he pretty much hopscotched over Jerron Ennis' name, a fighter who's in his backyard. Is Ennis on the snack program? And if he is, I truly don't care. Because, see, I'm not going to level down to you, Marty. I'm not going to level down. I don't have no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not going to put Ennis into this equation. He don't deserve it, bro. Ennis don't deserve it. J-Rock doesn't deserve it. None of the fighters that's in snack right now, listening to you, attempt to render some type of suspicion due to I'm talking about a qualified defeat of Errol Spence. Qualified. Bud Crawford had all the qualifications to go in there and perform the way he did. All the qualifications, bro. And you as a black man is really to stoop to the lowest of the low, along with your cronies. You know what I'm saying? Those individuals that all of you huddle up together and come up with these topics. You all are willing to run another or continue a smear campaign on Bud Crawford's name. And you want to make it seem like now all of a sudden a fighter that you never even like been on a consistent basis to see him train, spar, any of that. None of that, y'all. They haven't been up to Omaha. It's no evidence that they went up to Omaha to see Bud Crawford train. So being that you have no visual contact during fight camp, only interviews from local media, you have no experience, no documentation on fighters that have went up to the championship level that you have managed, that you can give us more criteria as to why you would say to what you're saying. It's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? Because now it just looked like you're all about holding on to a malicious magazine of rounds that you continue to fire in the directions of Terrence Bud Crawford. It's very, very unfortunate.
That Crawford's performance is highly suspicious. That's not why they're saying that. I don't want to tell you why. It has nothing to do with Errol Spence's performance. We know that Errol Spence's performance wasn't good at all. We know that. But we're talking about Terrence Crawford's performance. And the reason why people are asking about Terrence Crawford's performance is not just because he went to snack. Let me tell you what the people are saying now. Devin Haney's with snack. Boo Boo, Demetrius Andrade is with snack. Who else did I name? Jerron Boots Ennis with snack. Of course, we know Terrence Crawford's with snack. Caleb Plant with snack. There's other people that's with snack. The snack program under Victor Conti's tutelage and his expertise and his training regimens that he put together. So this is why people are asking about it.
You see how he's just dragging along with the fluff? I don't want to put y'all to sleep, but peep this out though. I'm gonna break some other news to y'all. The fighters that he's naming, ask yourself this. If a person is going so hard against Terrence Crawford, who previously was signed with Top Rank, but yet these fighters that he's mentioned in the SNAP program is all with PBC. Demetrius Andrade recently signed. Caleb Plant is with PBC. Errol Spence is with PBC. You know what I'm saying? Jerron Ennis is over there with Showtime, all affiliated with PBC. So when you think a person is going so hard at a fight that used to be signed with Top Rank, and he was critical of him having low-level opposition, perfectly matched by Top Rank, do you think he would have more support and advocate, you know what I'm saying, for a better topic? Because what you intentionally are doing is you're making PBC look bad, because you're not mentioning how Caleb Plant knocked out Anthony Durrell. You're not mentioning that. You're not mentioning it. Because if you want markers to prove your point, you mentioned Caleb Plant. I didn't. Okay. I didn't mention Caleb Plant. You did. So when Caleb Plant came off a loss against Stop by Canelo and then returned to the ring and fought Anthony Durrell and knocked him out cold, why isn't Caleb Plant in comparison to Bud Crawford? Because I know where you're going. I already don't listen to the video. Why is he not being compared to the David Avanesian knockout? Because that was one of the points that you was trying to mirror up to make your point about snack. You're trying to insinuate him stopping Sean Porter and David Avanesian has to do with enhancement. But yet you would not compare it to Caleb Plant, a fighter who you just mentioned, who was in the snack program too. So him knocking out Anthony Durrell, huh? That's not a point of concern. That's not a point of concern. Being that he had went the distance with some boxers, that's not a point of concern on the highest level. That's not a point of concern. What about Demetrius Andrade? You mentioned him, right? How many people he knocking out? How many people is Devin Haney knocking out? He look, he fought 2 fights, 2 separate fights in Australia. You don't think as many jabs as he's landed in the first fight, being on snack, he wouldn't have hurt Kambosos or knocked him down? Being that he just won a decision over Vasyl Lomachenko with no knockdowns, being on snack, it didn't enhance his strength. But yet, the Lone Ranger out of Omaha, Nebraska, you want to compare him to an Avanesian fight who you and your listeners never considered him to be top level opposition. Now, if you ain't switched up to a gossip column, I don't know what is. It's too easy for me to highlight these points, dear Marty. Too easy. Why would you even bring Avanesian up in the first place? And then why would you bring up Sean Porter being stopped by Terrence Crawford and then turn around and say his dad stopped it? So which one is it? Is it the fact that Terrence Crawford was on the enhancement, performance enhancing drugs, as you're trying to imply? Or did his dad stop it with Sean Porter? Which one is it? Are you going to give? Because I've heard y'all before. Y'all didn't give Crawford credit for defeating Sean Porter. His dad stopped it. His father stopped it. His trainer stopped the fight. Then Avanesian, he was considered to be a bum, a tomato can. So now all of a sudden, oh, I get it. He's knocking out a KO, because I heard D-Town mention, he only has a KO and the KO is different. Well, D-Town, you need to pay attention to my catalog, because I absolutely mentioned an adjective with a noun. Obviously, you weren't paying attention, but you can leave comments on my videos. So therefore, you trying to clarify the difference between a KO and a TKO as being a bit more serious between the two is absolutely wrong. A fighter can be in worse condition for a TKO stoppage, man, than a KO stoppage. Ryan Garcia, coherent, conscious, all of that, cannot make the count. Tank Davis gets a KO when Ryan Garcia stood up and walked back to his corner. Terrence Crawford gets a TKO, the same thing they was criticizing, of a fighter that's on snack. He was beating the brakes off freaking Errol Spence. And it looked way worse than Ryan Garcia. Looked way worse. But y'all want to hype on freaking David Avanesian and he being a low-level opposition. But yet now, Terrence Bud Crawford needs to be on snack to knock out a low-level competition. The audacity for you to take this route. Yeah, Marty. The audacity, bro.
Because Terrence Crawford's performance was highly suspicious. This is what's going on behind the scenes. You know, people say they behind the scenes in boxing. I'm really back there. And this is what the people saying now. I've even said some things as well. But we got to deal with what's real today. It says, peace. Marty, you do great work, man. Very logical. I'm just asking a question. We need answers. If you don't know the month and year, at least give us the first fight that he fought under the snack program. I'm just asking a question. There's a reason why I'm asking this question. Stay with me. Don't assume that I'm trying to allude to something. Just hear me out for it. Give me a chance. You know why I'm asking for a chance? Because this is what's funny to me. Back to what I was saying. A doctor gets on YouTube now, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with the guy, but a doctor gets on YouTube, doesn't tell you what his name is, doesn't show his face in the interview, never told you what his name was. The doctor gets on YouTube, didn't tell you what his name was. He didn't show his face. I believe he's a neurologist. And he told everybody on YouTube that Errol Spence have neurological damage. Not just in this fight, but even before this fight.
That's false. You know what I'm saying? He didn't tell everybody. He was on one platform. He didn't tell everybody. Those who ran with it, ran with it. Individuals like yourself, you ran with the rumor. You know what I'm saying? You ran with, these are grown adults now. This guy was under a false name and no one didn't even know his name. You know what I'm saying? He was going off a hashtag, a name that the host on the channel gave him when they used to talk about steroids. You know what I'm saying? So just to bring it up in general makes no sense. It's not even relevant. It's not even relevant because how dare you go a little bit more in detail about a doctor talking about residual neurological damage, which will absolutely debunk. You're talking about a snack program who Terrence Crawford was on. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go that route, do you? You don't want to make it seem like Errol Spence was damaged goods heading into that fight. That would just basically debunk everything you're trying to convince the listeners in making your point about the snack program being full of ingredients to enhance something that you already made yourself look crazy about because you said that it was legal. So if it's a legal program, that means it was approved by a higher authority. It was basically, they sat at the tables and talked about this guy being able to have fighters a part of his program. And he had to prove to them that they wouldn't have an advantage. They wouldn't violate any type of substance per the banned substance list when it comes to boxing.
And most of you believed him. Instagram page, right?
I'll fast
Go on
forward.
Snack's Instagram page. You'll see the first time they ever posted anything about Terrence Crawford. When I say posted, I mean his picture, his image, with a message and a caption and all of that. It was when he fought Sean Porter. A few months before he fought Sean Porter. That's when they introduced him on the Snack Instagram page. All right? And how do we know this? Because to my understanding, this is the first fight. This meaning the fight between Porter and Crawford. The first fight that I saw Bud Crawford have SNAC, snack, logo embroidered on his trunks. Y'all remember when he fought Sean Porter, snack was embroidered on his trunks. You remember when he fought David Evanesian, after the Porter fight, snack was embroidered on his trunks. And as we already know this to be true, because this literally just happened last weekend, that snack logo was embroidered on the trunks and the robe or jacket of Crawford when he fought Errol Spence. All right? There's a reason why I'm asking that question of when. There's a reason why. Excuse me. One of the reasons why is because it ties into VADA testing. That's why I asked originally on Monday, and I'm asking again today, was there VADA testing in this fight between Crawford and Spence? not just because of Crawford's performance. That's not why I'm just asking. You see, I'm asking that question because Victor Conte, who runs the entire program, he said some things in an interview 8 years ago about the testing. He said some things 8 years ago about the fighters that he sponsored and the fighters that he represent in his snack program. And I'm going to try to roll the tape so that we all can be on the same page. I'm trying to catch you up to speed now of why I asked on Monday to lay. I was laying a foundation for the day, really. And I asked the question again of was there violent testing in this fight? Random style drug and urine testing in this fight. I only asked that question because if it was not, then we need Victor Conte and his expertise to explain some things to us so that we all can be educated.
That makes no sense at all. Why we need Victor Conte to explain anything to us? Why? When has this ever taken place? How do you produce documentation on several other fights of fighters that signed under the snack program? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we have to put a stop to the accusations. That's why you have your own platform and a voice. So therefore, I'm not speaking around in circles. I'm not trying to be a part of Gotham City and come back as a Riddler. Well, what I'm saying to you, Marty, is why is it such an important topic of discussion right now? Well, Victor Conte has to come over here when you don't have documentation of other fighters that concern you the same. You don't have other fighters. You don't have no list. You have no documentation. If you're going to roll the tape, you should have rolled the tape and let us visually saw other fighters who you deemed suspicious. Brother. I need to know about other fighters who are signed up with Snack and who you deem suspicious to compare them to the performance that Crawford put on, along with the documentation of why you deem his last several fights to be suspicious since he signed up with Snack. Now, granted, you're going to run into some turbulence. Okay. Let me help you understand. Let me fly you into this helo pad there, Marty. You're going to run into some turbulence, brother. Because I know y'all love to ignore the fact that Bud Crawford beat Jeff Horn, but he did, and he stopped him. Therefore, what ensued was him defending his title and stopping everyone in the welterweight division. Now, the turbulence for you is to prove that you said it was low-level competition, but also you are insinuating that he did something different than he did since he defeated Jeff Horn. That is him stopping David Avanesian and Sean Porter somewhat piqued your interest of suspicion to make these accusations, to make these unfounded. You're making accusations based off nothing, zero. If you were attempting to take this to the court of law and get some type of results, some type of legal results, and in a lawsuit or something for your fighter, you would be laughed at, because you absolutely is saying that there's a legal program that's going on in boxing, legal, and you're trying to imply that, hey, he went to prison and did his time, and the judge is going to rack the gavel and say, sir, we already know all this. Please inform us as new information. What brings you here today? Well, it was this one particular fighter that it's not my fighter though, nor did he fight my fighter. I mean, in fact, I don't have no fighters. But just in case I did have a fighter that was on the elite level, championship level, I would say that I like one fighter and I don't like the other. It's not gonna fly. It's not going to fly. You're not going to get any type of traction trying to convince these people, man. Only thing I can say is when they listen to this, They can put it all together, man. I'm assuming they can put this all together and say, no, this is just a witch hunt. I'm bringing up the old school term that morning. This is just a witch hunt, a vendetta against a black fighter who stays not anywhere close to you, stays all the way in Omaha, Nebraska, who you are trying to place him in a situation where he can respond to you. That's what it's about. Y'all want a response. Y'all want to act like you want certain people to come on your show. But why should they even give you the time of day? It makes no sense. Victor Conte don't have to pay you any mind until you continue to imply that the SNAP program may be giving fighters an edge. And then you're going to have to produce freaking data. You're going to have to produce analytics. And you know you're not trying to do that.
All right? I'm going to find that. That's what Victor Conte said. So that's why I'm asking.
Hold up for a second.
Question what Victor Conte said about his belief system on transparency and how his fighters, you know what, I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
I just, that's the sad part about all of this is that until those that have the money and the power develop a genuine interest in catching these boxers and these other athletes in all sports, we're going to continue to have a rampant use of PEDs. I pointed to Major League Baseball with the use of synthetic testosterone, and I went on the record, and in the following year, they had more than 10 positive drug tests. Listen, this is what when I criticized WADA, you know, and I said, you need to use the intelligence that you have and target test, okay? So what is a good form of intelligence? How about that Victor Conte was, you know, giving athletes PEDs? We know this, so I'm a person that should be target tested. Any athlete that works with me, I recommend that they do 24/7, 365 testing. I've sponsored more than 10 boxers who have done this sort of testing. So what I'm saying is somebody like a Memo Heredia, who has this history of distributing PEDs to elite athletes, why are they not target testing him and his athletes? Just like they should target test me and my athletes. I welcome that. Memo claims, oh, we want to do USADA, we want to do WADA. Well, why are none of his fighters doing this? You know, the Pascal thing, let me say this.
Did y'all hear what Victor Conte said? This was March 25th, 2015. This was published in an interview. Victor Conte said this in 2015. That any fighter that works with his program, they should be enrolled in 24/7, 365 days out of a year testing. And he's talking about random Olympic-style blood and urine testing. That's what Victor Conte said. So that's why I'm asking the question. I'm just asking the question is, was it VADA testing in this fight? Because Terrence Crawford works with Victor Conte under the SNAP program.
Now you see how pointless that was for him to roll the tape and talk about Victor Conte's words 2015 as if it has anything to do with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Crawford wasn't even in the welterweight division for Manager Marty. Manager Marty wasn't even on YouTube. I mean, just to be clear, he wasn't even on YouTube. You're talking about something that you want to bring to the light. And you wasn't even on YouTube in 2015. You only been on YouTube a little over how many years or whatever. So for you to bring this issue up to somewhat soil and believe that staining a fighter's reputation based off fictitious accusation, you're taking it to a whole nother level. Shout out to Gumbo, aka Hot Grease, aka Mr. Sucker Free on deck with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you, big dog. One love. He said Marty the Mouth Carnett now have a problem with snack now because Crawford had fried fish for a snack. Shaking my head. You know what it is, that Gumbo? They mad, bro. But hey, I'm gonna break him down. I'm gonna break him down. He's not making any sense. Haynes Legacy on deck. Appreciate the $2 super chat, my brother. One love to you and the fam, man. Undertaking WCS NASCAR, no doubt, man. Shout out to these two gentlemen that donated to the channel, and big shout out to the hottest chat in the game, man. I appreciate y'all for pulling up and tuning in. Real talk. Make sure y'all hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Real talk. I would appreciate y'all hit the like button, people. I will try to visit the chat after I get through with this. Okay. I see some of y'all in the building. Real talk. I will definitely get back with y'all. All right. I want to get through this because Marty rambles and rambles and rambles. So he pretty much was talking about a voice, something that was made a public statement by Victor Conte about what he demands of his fighters who he sponsor. 365 days, right? Olympic style testing. And now he's very curious about, was there VADA testing in this fight? All of a sudden, he's curious. He has no connection to Spence now. No connection to Spence. But he pretty much named off other fighters that's attached to PBC, who Spence is attached to PBC. He's not worried about mentioning their names. He's more concerned about a fighter who signed a 2-fight deal from leaving Top Rank to fight a fighter at PBC, which happens to be one of his favorite fighters, or a fighter that he's in bed with. You know what I'm saying? He's in bed with trying to prove to the people. The navish part about this nefarious act is that they're putting their real lifetime effort into talking about a smear campaign that they can't change. If I've never told you all, I'll tell you again. The YTC has never made a fight of this magnitude happen on this social media platform. Never. So all this, it's not going to do anything except when he comes up for another fight, all they're going to do is be doing the same thing they're doing now. They're going to be talking about it. They're going to be hoping and wishing. Oh, man, if it's Jamel Charlo, if it's Spence again, they're going to talk about the first fight with Victor Conte. No, I hope Victor Conte pay you a visit. You talking about a dude that's done time. You think he's gonna come on your platform and play your game? Your patty cake baker's mind? You think he's gonna come on your platform and play your game over semantics with no documentation? This guy will run circles around you. Circles. He's the one that have the program. You don't.
That's what I'm asking. Was there VADA testing in this fight? Errol Spence was the WBC champion, which means he automatically qualifies for under the world, the World Clean Boxing program for the WBC.
He doesn't automatically qualify to give his blood and says that he is giving his blood. He is underneath as a WBC champion. Paperwork, description, that's all. Physicality, not so much. If you go to VADA, they say, oh yeah, he's under VADA. He's a WBC champion. That doesn't mean he's taking testing all the time. Let's not woe the people to sleep with these falsicities, these fallacies that you coming up with. Let's not do that, Marty. Let's not do that, brother. We're not gonna say he automatically is nothing. If you're a WBC champion, it's as easy as now signing your signature. But as far as him giving samples of urine and this, that, and the other, it's voluntary. They don't go up here and try to, find a way. Oh, let's sneak up on these fighters. Let's make it happen. If they signed up for testing, random drug testing, they get tested.
That facilitates the testing for all their world champions. That's why I'm asking, was it VADA testing in this fight on both fighters?
Fast forward.
But y'all heard, this is Victor Conte in an interview that was published. I don't know how old or new it is, but this was published on May the 5th, 2023. And this is Victor Conti discussing Manny Pacquiao.
Okay, this becomes very interesting in the nuance of this buffoonery. The reason why I say that is because now it's switched over to Manny Pacquiao. What this has to do with anything, I don't know. But once again, WCS will break it down as best as I possibly can. When Manny Pacquiao went up there and dropped Keith Thurman, I didn't hear Manager Marty up here bringing that up, talking about, Manny Pacquiao dropping Keith Thurman. Is he on snack? No, he's not on snack. Since he's not on snack and you can't use Manny Pacquiao as a target because he is not of interest, then you would just have to straight up say that he's on performance enhancing drugs. Okay, but you didn't do that. You didn't do that. But today you're going to do it because an accusation was made. And look how I'm going to spin this. Let him get this shit out.
This is prevalent in Olympic sport and specifically in track and field that the use of PEDs is. Was Alex Ariza, is he on Victor Conti Memo Heredia level? Would he be capable of all the accusations that were thrown around about him and Pacquiao? I'm not going to accuse him of anything, but I have strong suspicion that his entire career involved using PEDs. No evidence. A lot of people talk. When you say his entire career, do you mean Ariza's or you mean Pacquiao's? I'm talking about both. Oh. Yeah. You want my opinion? Yeah. My opinion is Manny Pacquiao was on performance enhancing substances his entire career.
Did y'all hear that? Victor Conti said that his opinion is that Manny Pacquiao was on performance enhancement substances for his entire career. That's what Victor Conti said.
So what does that have to do with Crawford, though?
Even before he was with Ariza. That's just my opinion. And that's based on, I know a lot of people that know a lot of people that were around him as well, from the Philippines. But I just think that, because of the lack of testing, and I can also tell you something else that was very highly suspicious about him, and that is his last 3 fights were all took place in Nevada, and they didn't do full VADA testing because he wouldn't do it.
Y'all heard that? Victor Conti said that Pacquiao's last 3 fights at that time were in the state of Nevada, and that they did not facilitate or administer VADA testing in those 3 fights. And these are the fights that he's referring to.
But they did a weaker testing through the commission. This is Adrian Broner. This is Keith Thurman, and it was going to be Ugas? No, it was going to be Spence, and then he had the eye issue, and then it became Ugas. So they did not do full VADA testing and then he was brought off into the sunset.
Did y'all hear that? That's Victor Conti, y'all.
What does that mean?
So when people are looking at Terrence Crawford and they look at why they're suspicious of him, they're going back his last 3 fights, just like Victor Conti went back.
That's cap. Hold on for a second. That's cap. So what y'all just heard, let me go to my next slide. You know what I'm saying? And once again, big shout out to everyone who's tuned in. Hit the like button. I have 51 likes on deck. You know, let's get the likes up to 60. I know some of you on here just peeking through the window. It's okay. It's okay. Going to my next slide. It's to pseudology, the act of lying, right? You know what I'm saying? Like pseudology, the act of lying. I would say that listening to this so-called fragmented, you know what I'm saying, analogy doesn't even come close to connecting. Not in the middle, not end to end, not female to male, none of that shit. There's no connection there. There's no connection. Because what he did was pretty much take Victor Conte speaking about suspicion of Manny Pacquiao, which we was on YouTube. I was on YouTube when he fought Keith Thurman, right? And that doesn't mean anything. You know, I was on YouTube. I didn't hear anybody talking about, oh man, Manny Pacquiao knocked down Keith Thurman. Did somebody test? Because we're not talking about snack now. We're just talking about straight up him being a part of some type of testing by the commission or whatever, right? So you're talking about people who with boxing, quote unquote, that knows boxing. So if he's in the back with boxing, he was know there's some regionals that you can go to, and it's plenty of times. Isn't Nevada considered one of the biggest footprints in boxing? Yeah, okay. Do you know that they do their own thing? Of course they do. It's boxing. They do their own thing. But to bring up and let us listen to an audio of Victor Conte talking about Manny Pacquiao suspicion, then you're in the process of talking about Crawford being signed to Victor Conte and the suspicion of his performance. Somehow you're trying to tie it in to fighters, boxers being on performance enhancing drugs. So it's no way for you to connect. It's no way that you to link that up. Because it doesn't make sense. Manny Pacquiao is not signed with Victor Conte. Victor Conte made an accusation against Manny Pacquiao. You, on the other hand, is linking Terrence Crawford to Victor Conte. And in that process, you're trying to fumble your way around and to say, well, was there any VADA testing this fight? Huh? Oh, let me tie Manny Pacquiao in, who's not signed to Victor Conte. He didn't want to take no VADA testing. He didn't want no type of testing in Nevada. He didn't want no type of testing because, you know, he's Manny Pacquiao. So how can that be a point of interest that Manny Pacquiao turned down testing in VADA? I mean, in Las Vegas, right? How does it tie in to what we witnessed July 29th? How all of a sudden you're trying to make it a point of reference when it comes to Crawford beating up Errol Spence? And you know, the crazy part about this is that you haven't mentioned what drives it home for you and Manny Pacquiao. To compare what Victor Conte said, what performance of Manny Pacquiao drives it home for you? Because he didn't stop Adrian Broner. He didn't stop Adrian Broner. He didn't stop Keith Thurman. He knocked him down in the first round, didn't he? He didn't stop him. And he wasn't even signed on to freaking any type of snack program, was he? Victor Conte is just saying, hey, I believe, and I'm under suspicion he's been on it for his whole entire year. So how are you bringing this to light to have Crawford as a topic of discussion that's a part of the snack program that you have deemed legal, and that is basically recognized as being legal, right? It's legal. What sense does it make to put the title up there and keep on mentioning Crawford's name? Why are you trying so hard to be relevant of tarnishing another black man boxing career? But yet you say you're in the sport of boxing. Who would want a manager like you who's up here tarnishing the image of another black fighter? That means you don't even respect fighting. You don't respect boxing. You can't compare what I say about Spence because he actually did it. I'm not going up here assuming based off accusations that he's drinking. He admitted to it. He admitted to clubbing. But you are going off and trying to tie this in to the listeners that, hey, all of a sudden, Manny Pacquiao, Victor Conte said Manny Pacquiao is potentially, under suspicion. And what makes it even more wild is that you have a Filipino fighter that visits your platform all the time. You have a Filipino fighter and his wife that visit your platform all the time. And the Filipinos usually stick up for one another. But if they are not willing to stick up for Manny Pacquiao, that means somehow, some way, they're trying to basically use the platform to send a message to. They have ulterior motives for being around your platform, because that just doesn't make any sense. Filipinos, they usually take up for each other. And being that, we have a Filipino fighter that visits your platform all the time. Come on, man. You talking about Manny Pacquiao, 8th division world champion, a legend. I've heard you. Oh, Nonito Donaire, a legend, right? So therefore, I'm curious. I'm curious to how you're gonna break that down. Since you're playing this video, this audio of Victor Conte having suspicion of Manny Pac, I suggest you do a live stream and get the missus and the boxer back on there and see if they agree with Manny Pacquiao being on performance enhancing drugs his whole career. I would definitely tune in for that.
Pacquiao's last 3 fights at that time. Victor Conte looked at the last 3 fights at that time for Pacquiao that gave him those suspicions. And
that's cap. He didn't look at the last 3 fights. He was saying that he didn't pretty much honor testing. He didn't look at the fight. He's going off Pacquiao being available for testing, committing to testing rather. That's what he's looking at. You, on the other hand, is trying to flip-flop this shit like you cooking pancakes, bro. It ain't gonna happen. Because pretty much what you're saying when it comes to Terrence Crawford is that he's up here based off the performance that he did with Errol Spence. It doesn't look like he can pull that off without being on something. You're not looking at whether he was in testing. You're just trying to fluff it as a disguise. That's all you're trying to do. It has absolutely nothing to do with what you're saying about Pacquiao. You're saying Pacquiao didn't do testing. Okay, but did you talk about his performances? Because you're pretty much talking about Bud Crawford's performances. You're saying what he did to Spence. People are asking how he went out there and did Sean Porter. People are asking how he went in there and dispersed of David Avanesian. People are asking, but you didn't keep the same type of criterion format for the point you was trying to make with Manny Pacquiao. You didn't do it, brother. You're talking about bringing Victor Conte in here and talking about suspicion of Manny Pacquiao. No, you've been exposed, bro. Because for Crawford, it's all about the physicality of his performances. One, primarily on July 29th. The physicality on what he was able to delegate towards Errol Spence. You don't like it. He beat him up, and you're trying to insinuate that the man was on performance-enhancing drugs. You're trying to insinuate him stopping Porter and being the only man to do it. He was on performance-enhancing drugs. You're trying to say him knocking out David Avanesian, a low-level opposition, low level. You're trying to say it's not even capable of Crawford to go in there and knock this guy out, even though he stopped everybody in the welterweight division. Now, if that's not a bowl, a suitcase, a dump truck full of hypocrisy, I don't know what it is, brother.
You heard him say it, Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, and it would have been Spence, but Errol Spence had the torn eye retina. So then, of course, Ugas was the third fight that he was referring to, all 3 of those fights. You know what I mean? Now, people are comparing what Victor Conte said about Pacquiao's last 3 fights and why he was suspicious of Pacquiao's performances to Terrence Crawford's last 3 fights and why people are suspicious about him.
That's lying. You lying, Marty. He wasn't suspicious of his last 3 fight performances. You threw that in there. He was suspicious because he didn't want to be tested. Nobody heard anything about Nevada testing with Crawford and Spence. You didn't bring it up prior to. You wasn't even concerned about it. But yet you felt there was a point of direction because of the way Crawford went in there and destroyed your favorite fighter. That's all. Nobody was reaching. Nobody was trying to locate this topic of discussion that you're talking about. Come on, brother. This is just easy. You were up here fluffing and flipping over freaking topics, and you're trying to put the blame off on Victor Conte to reference your point, brother. I'm seeing all through it. It's easy. You don't even have to put it on the microscope, bro. You started off with Terrence Crawford's physical performance, and you was describing how he went up here and authoritated his results on his opposition. And you kept on re-emphasizing that this man was a part of Snack. But Manny Pacquiao is not a part of Snack. But you want to sit up here and say, oh, Victor Conte said Manny Pacquiao has been pretty much on performance-enhancing drugs his entire career. And he didn't want to test in Nevada. What was he emphasizing his performance for? What performance? What performance was that? Did he knock out Adrian Broner? What performance? He landed a punch on Adrian Broner. I was at the fight. What performance in Nevada that piqued his attention to say, oh, when he's telling you that he has suspicion that Manny Pacquiao was on performance-enhancing drugs his whole entire career, y'all, not to mention how many losses Manny Pacquiao has. How many losses does Manny Pacquiao has? Not only that, if you're going to hear and listen to WCS tell you how many losses that Manny Pacquiao has, I'm going to ask you also, why do he have those losses? Because what you're trying to insinuate with Crawford is him beating up Errol Spence, who is a younger boxer than himself and supposed to be a high-level boxer who fought low-level competition. That's what you was trying to insinuate. So if Manny Pacquiao has faced losses in his career, how is that possible? Why wouldn't he be in a position of Crawford? Why wouldn't Manny Pacquiao, 8-division world champion, who has been suspected from Victor Conte, a felon who did time, right? He suspected Manny Pacquiao has been on performance-enhancing drugs his entire career. I can't make this shit up. Let me show y'all something right quick. Let me show you how I get down. I'm about to show you something right quick, right? Let me show you something. Check this out, y'all. Let me take down this thumbnail. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Let me share that right quick. Check this out, people. This is how this shit don't make no sense at all, right? So Manny Pacquiao and what Marty is trying to connect the dots, and they're so far away, he can't even bring them together, you know, even if he had a SEAL team. This is Manny Pacquiao, who's 62-8-2, 39 knockouts, and he's been stopped 3 times. And Manny suspicion of performance-enhancing drugs. And this is the point that Marty is trying to tie in to Crawford, who he was pretty much basically being very descriptive about the performance value of him being on Snack, vice the absence of drug testing that Victor Conte has suspicion about. The absence of drug testing. Look, let me take you down. Let me take you down to a little secret. Hold on now. This is gonna blow your mind. Look, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In Manny Pacquiao's 12th professional fight, he was knocked out in the 3rd round suspicion of performance-enhancing drugs. Why not was Manny Pacquiao the Incredible Hulk in his 12th professional fight? Why? Why? So he goes on, he goes on a winning streak, you know what I'm saying? And then in 1999, he fought a guy from Thailand and he lost another TKO in round 3 now. Look, check this out. This was a KO and this was a TKO. But this is the reference that Marty wants to use with Victor Conte to say that somehow Manny Pacquiao, he has suspicion of him being on performance-enhancing drugs, but yet he's still getting knocked out. He's still getting knocked out in his 12th professional fight. And then he gets knocked out again with a TKO in round 3. Championship fights now. Championship fights. Goes on, has a draw, keeps winning, another draw. This is performance-enhancing drugs now. This is the point Marty's trying to drive home with Victor Conte because the shit ain't adding up. He goes to a UD with Eric Morales. Why? If he was on performance-enhancing drugs his entire career, and this was in Vegas, y'all. This was in Vegas. So what Marty is trying to imply that when it comes to Vegas, Manny Pacquiao don't want to do no testing. No. He don't want to do no testing in Vegas, but Eric Morales got a win over here in Vegas. Was it testing then? I don't know. You might want to spin the reel and do your research a little bit more there, Marty. You need to try to find out if this was in Vegas too. If he was on performance-enhancing drugs his entire career, we need to come up and find those results right there, because that was a close fight and against a legend in Eric Morales. So we need to see what the results is so we can bring that back to the listeners so they can roll the tape while you explain that Manny Pacquiao back in 2005, you know what I'm saying? Back in 1999, you know what I'm saying? Back in 1996 were deemed true to be in performance-enhancing drugs and nobody did nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention 2012, the Timothy Bradley effect. And then the Juan Manuel Marquez, who he fought basically 6 months later in 2012, was knocked out cold when they debated Timothy Bradley. They was giving freaking death threats to Timothy Bradley. They thought Manny Pacquiao had won. You talking about the juiced up Filipino legend himself. Victor Conte suspected him of all his career as being on. But Timothy Bradley was able to squeak out a split decision. And they said, hell no, that's debatable. That's debatable. Timothy Bradley speak about getting death threats on that shit. And then 6 months later, he go in there and get flatlined by Juan Manuel Marquez, bro. Pacquiao down in round 3. Check this out, listeners. He's down in round 3, 6. You know what I'm saying? Pacquiao is down in round 3 and 6 and up out of there. Close the curtains. It's a wrap. Done. Then he goes in there after anticipated fight, Floyd Mayweather. We all seen what happened with that. And then he goes in there and loses against Jeff Horn. Okay. And then he goes in there against Yordenis Ugas. This is more recent, right? In 2021. Was he using old performance-enhancing drugs? Were they old and expired? Did he check the expiration date on it? I just thought I'd run that past y'all. That's all. I just thought I'd run that past y'all. Hopefully, the point was proven. You know what I'm saying? I just want to run that past y'all because we have people that's up here in the act of lying. They're not doing enough research, bro. Come on, you're not doing enough research, man.
About his last 3 performances. Let's give what his last 3 performances were.
When you buy from myparkingsign.com, you're getting the exact.
Spence obviously was his last performance. We know that. David Evanesian and then Sean Porter. I asked you all earlier, when did Terrence Crawford be marketed and advertised by Snack as being a part of their program? It was a few months before he fought Sean Porter. And Sean Porter was the first fight that Terrence Crawford fought under the snack program. And we've seen what happened in that fight.
And there you go. He said, we see what happened in that fight, right? But with Manny Pacquiao, it was more so the actions that he took prior to the fight. Doesn't testing happen prior and sometimes after post-fight, right? Okay, so now he said, we saw what happened. Now he's insinuating that Crawford, the way he dogged Sean Porter, we're talking about, look. We're talking about him being told that he's potentially down on the scorecards, right? He's under the snack program and down on the scorecards. We're looking for a Marvel comic who is signed up to snack, who is the superhero of all superheroes out of Omaha, Nebraska. He is somehow in a close fight with Sean Porter, a fighter who's not on the snack program. And he said, y'all seen what happened in that fight. So pretty much he's insinuating that, yeah, he signed up right around the time he fought Sean Porter. And look at the results, y'all. The results were what they were. So which one is it? Did Kenny Porter stop the fight? Or was it because of Terrence Crawford putting a leather to him? Which one was it? Because Sean Porter never came out. See, that's the thing with the aerosexuals. The aerosexuals will come up here and say some, off the wall, idiotic type of criticism when the fighter themselves is not speaking with that same temperature. The fighters themselves not making excuses like that. And that's what we're dealing with Errol Spence. Errol Spence is say, I ain't making excuses for nothing. I'm not making excuses for nothing. But he too was contradicting, because he was pretty much making excuses as to why Crawford defeated Kell Brook the way he did, why he defeated Sean Porter the way he did. He said he was a shell of themselves, and because he participated in breaking Kell Brook's other eye. So that is making excuses as to why Bud Crawford did him dirty the way he did. Not only that, Errol Spence finally stepped into the freaking the abyss, the Omaha abyss, and got that work. Now he has tipped the aerosexuals on their head. He has tipped them. He has tilted them on their head. They don't know how to act. They're coming up with freaking false accusations. The act of lying. They're all about pseudology. They want to have a degree in pseudology. Teach me how to lie better than what I'm already doing. Teach me. That's all. Teach me how to lie. Teach me how to lie, people.
He knocked Sean Porter down twice. And then, of course, Kenny Porter waved the fight off. In the next fight, he fought a year later, 13 months to be exact, David Evanesian. And he knocked David Evanesian out cold with not one, not two, not three punch combinations, but just with one punch. And most people was asking then, since when did Terrence Crawford ever have one punch knockout power?
And here we go. We're talking about the physicality. And that's simply why I have a problem, Marty, because you're not being honest to the listeners. You're being a liar. You know what I'm saying? Now you've been a slick talker. You know what I'm saying? Old school terms, of course. You've been a con artist. That's what it seems like you're being now. Because Manny Pacquiao scenario with Victor Conte has absolutely nothing to do with Bud Crawford, bro. And you're talking about Crawford's physicality on asking when. We're not talking about him being tested anymore. That's what you try to fluff it up on the front end. You really don't care about what you're talking about with the VADA testing. No, you're just talking about it because that's not a topic of discussion. No one's asking about that. You're saying the people, which the people are you. You are an entire consensus. You are the agitator. You're the one that's being the antagonist. You're the one that's being the rumor starter. That's you. You're talking about the physicality of the results. You're not giving this man no credit. All you're saying, he's never been a one-punch knockout artist. But you're forgetting on how you built yourself up to criticize Crawford. Your whole mattress of comfort was to lie there, kick back, and say that Crawford has fought low-level competition. That is you, Marty. That's exactly who you are. You said he fought low-level opposition. What is Crawford going to do when Errol Spence hit him? And you deem Errol Spence to be top-level elite competition. You don't deem David Avanesian to be top-level. So with that said, why shouldn't Bud Crawford be able to land a one punch on a low-level tomato can like David Avanesian? You're not even making no sense, brother. You can't. Why does it take old me to put this puzzle together for you? I mean, I can do it with my eyes closed, man. You're not making any sense at all. You're talking about the physicality of something. If David Avanesian was a tomato can like y'all said he was, and all the laughter, the giggles, the chuckles, all that shit, right? Y'all thought he was hilarious. Oh, who is David Avanesian? He left negotiations with Errol Spence to go fight this bum. He's a bum. He's a tomato can. But yet you're up here trying to imply the reason that Crawford knocked him out with supposedly a one punch is because he's a snack. And now you're talking about snack in a sense of what? Being a performance enhancement supplement? Because it can't be performance enhancing drugs because you said it was legal. So it has to be performance enhancing supplement. So if you're going off the supplement aspect, that means you have no point at all. It is moot. It's inadmissible. It's done. You just wasted time trying to smear this man's name, and you didn't even make sense in your whole entire point. You're trying to convince the people that Crawford knocking out Avanesian with one punch is saying that he's stronger than usual. When you said that Avanesian was a bum. He was nobody. He's been matched perfectly over there with Top Rank. Even though he fought Avanesian outside of Top Rank, you have been on record as saying this man fought low-level competition. Man, make up your mind.
And then the third fight, that was basically worse than what he did to Avanesian, he did to Spence. And how Spence failed after that fight. And how hurt Spence was. And how he dropped Spence early in the fight. This is why people are saying they're highly suspicious.
The people are not saying that. The people are looking at the technique for which he used with that, those punches that he was throwing. How punctual. You're not a boxing fan, Marty. I'm just going to go out and tell you, you're not a boxing fan. Because if you're not talking about numbers, you're lost in the sauce. You're absolutely lost in the sauce, brother. You are lost. I want to goddamn put that DKSAB hashtag on you. Because if you're not talking about some business, administrative, logistics type work about fighters being signed, you lost in the sauce, bro. Because it's easy for you to have somebody on your panel and ask them 1,000 questions rather than actually talk about boxing itself. You know what I'm saying? Actually talk about boxing. Boxing. Just like the last time I was on your panel and the people on there try to cut me off when I say BLK has not had a boxing card, and I was interrupted and said, oh, that's not true. And then I had to tell them of that magnitude of Bud Crawford. And not only that, I know y'all didn't care, but to hear you sit up here and say that the man never had one punch knockout power, but yet y'all was bragging about Spence swelling up Uga's eye the way it did, and he ain't never did that to any other fighter. But yet you wouldn't putting him out there as being on that Texas T. All y'all was talking about, oh, that's what he do. He go to the body. He the body snatcher. Huh? How's he the body snatcher? How he the body snatcher? Lamont Peterson, he was good. His eyes were swelled up, but y'all weren't talking about he's the eye collector back then with old Lamont Peterson. You weren't talking that way about Mikey Garcia. You weren't saying that about freaking Carlos Ocampo. Did he swell up Sean Porter's eyes? He bruised up light-skinned Danny Garcia. But all of a sudden, he puts on a performance against Yadina's Ugas, and y'all praise the man, and performance-enhancing drugs is not even in your conversation, brother. That's hypocrisy at its best. Real talk. That's hypocrisy at its best, y'all.
Of Crawford. And they're basing it off of his association with Victor Conte. This is a fact.
That's not a fact. And the messed up part about you saying that's a fact is the very same reason on how you was criticizing Blue Blood Sports for going out here clickbaiting and talking about everything's a fact, and it wasn't a fact. It's okay for you to be in your line of work when you're talking about numbers. But now you outside of that scope, and all you're doing is just making shit up. You're just making it up, bro. You're talking about the people. What if I was to get on here and put titles up here and talk about the people? Who is the people? It's the same shit you was criticizing Blue Blood for when he say the sources. What sources? You don't have no sources. Y'all was all on his neck, but then you turn around and you're saying that you're doing the exact same manner. You're up here talking about the people. The people. What people? Do they have an identity? Do they have a name? What people? What people you talking about? You're doing the exact same thing that y'all was criticizing him as doing. You have basically settled in the exact same way. I don't know if you're not getting, certain traction. You want to build up the interest and take advantage of the moment because this is a hot topic, being that, Errol Spence totally got annihilated. I don't know if you can't function. You know what I'm saying? You can't accept the reality, but hey, I'm here to tell you, it's official. It is absolutely official. It ain't no changing it, Marty. It's over.
No one on this channel, including myself, is accused fan or Spence fan. None of that's important. What's important is that both fighters in this fight look different. I said it on Monday. And it could be for two totally different reasons, And that's why I asked the question.
Hey, you right about that, Marty. That's the truth of it all. Finally, you speak some truth. They did look different. That's because Crawford was putting those hands and paws and feet and knuckles on Spence's face. You're right. You're right. Hey, you absolutely right. And hearing your co-host talking about Crawford can't fight on the inside. Well, you need to go back and watch the tape. You need to roll the tape because how he baited Spence on the inside and snuck him with the uppercut. Come on, man. Y'all was saying this man can't do it. And now you're saying the man can't fight. The last three opponents he been with Snack. He hasn't did it naturally. If that ain't some vile intention, that is absolutely nefarious any way you look at it, bro. It's malicious any way you look at it, man. That's malicious of what y'all doing out here, bro. Y'all can't even get in here and give a man his credit, his just due. Now you want to accuse him of being on some type of supplement to help him freaking get the results that he was already getting before he signed with Victor Conte's snack program. He was already stopping dudes. Where were you when he stopped Jeff Horn in 2018? Why didn't you consider Jeff Horn a bigger fighter who's coming off of Manny Pacquiao, who Victor Conte suspected of being on performance-enhancing drugs? Why Manny Pacquiao didn't blow out Jeff Horn? The simple fact that Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao in a close fight, and then Crawford comes up here and beat the same Jeff Horn that beat a juiced-up Manny Pacquiao his entire career. How do you explain that, Marty? How do you explain that? Please help me. How do you explain it, brother? Jeff Horn beat up a juiced Manny Pacquiao. Crawford came up here and beat a Jeff Horn that did the impossible. He fought a fighter that was under suspicion from Victor Conte of doping his entire career, and Jeff Horn pulled it off. Crawford comes up here from a lighter division and faces a heavier Jeff Horn, who pulled off the unthinkable and gets his first victory at the welterweight division via stoppage. And you up here trying to sell this narrative to the people that Oh, he didn't start performing like this until the snack program. Man, you have been cooked, scorched. This shit don't make no sense. You out of your league in this game. You out of your league, bro. If you ain't talking about numbers, let's talk about reality. The reality is that this shit don't make no sense. It doesn't make any sense at all, brother. Let me see what else you have to say before I close out this audio.
Testing in this fight.
Okay, he want to know if it's bother testing. What else?
No. McDonald not wearing them gloves. There's something wrong with them gloves. Ain't no pad in that glove. And Garcia himself said, and I'm not seeing this in the fight, boy, Leonard Ellaby told Garcia the gloves that Crawford wore were not the regular Everlast gloves. There's different brands of Everlast gloves. And I believe that those were the horsehair gloves.
So pretty much what you just heard. Let me go to my picture, right? So he goes on to say he believes that those was the horsehair gloves. Now you ask yourself, people, you're smart, extremely intelligent, and I know if I pretty much let you listen to something that you can pretty much decipher as being untruthful. Okay, this man say he's believe. He goes on to say that they wasn't the real Everlast gloves. These was the horsehair gloves. He believes. Why would you believe that, once again, without no evidence to present to the people, to roll the tape? Why you didn't roll the tape when you're believing that these are horsehair gloves? Do you have any video footage? Did someone tell you that? Do you have any audio? Do you have any pictures to mirror Crawford's Everlast gloves up to any other Everlast gloves? Why would you assume that they're horsehair gloves? And why would you sit up here and try to convince the people, not only is he a part of the snack program and he's stronger than most fighters, is that he had to have special gloves? And I heard D-Town mention that Crawford had altered gloves when he fought Avanesian. So you and him are not even on the same page. I'll split that up. For you, because he's insinuating that Crawford had fucked up gloves, and you insinuate that Crawford was on the snack program enhanced full of this supplement that caused you to perform better. So you and him need to get on the same sheet of music, because when I try to put it on the scales, it don't fucking add up. He's saying it was the gloves, and you're saying it was because he was on snack. Y'all need to have a meeting. When y'all coming up with all this negativity, it shouldn't take an old cat like me to come up here and decipher through all the rhetoric. Now you're talking about horsehair gloves. Who gives a fuck? Once again, you said that these was absolutely legal. So if they're legal, why are you even talking about them? Why are you ignoring the fact that this man came over there and defeated a WBO champion in his first fight in the welterweight division? What is wrong with you, man? I don't see you digging and taking out the shovel and going back in Errol Spence's career to the knockouts that he was getting with lower level opposition. You're not taking out, you're not digging and swinging the shovel on him going 12 rounds with a lightweight. A lightweight. That wasn't anything special. Did you want to test Mikey Garcia? Like, you should have tested Mikey. Guess what? You want me to break that shit down to you, Marty? Mikey Garcia was on the snack program too. Right? Let me see. Let me sneak it. Let me see. Was Mikey Garcia on the snack program? Snack. Let me see, Manager Marty, because you like rolling the tape, right? Because I could have sworn I seen Mikey Garcia on there. Come on, man. Let me share this with y'all people, Because look, Errol Spence went the distance with Mikey Garcia. And I'm just doing my due diligence as a content creator, y'all. This is what I do. They think I was just talking about Crawford all day long. You want me to goddamn layer some shit down? I can. But let me take this down once again, and let me bring to you. Let me spin the reel, okay, and share screen. Let me share screen to sponsor Athlete's snack. I can't make this up now. Who do y'all see right there? Huh? Who do y'all see right there? It's levels. That's all I'm saying. It's levels. So Errol Spence went the distance with Mikey Garcia, moving up 2 weight divisions, and Marty didn't even think to question Mikey Garcia coming up 2 weight divisions to go 12 rounds with a weight bully who said he walk around at 165 to 68, and they mad because Crawford sit up there and demolished him, and he admitted that he was a weight bully, and people consider Crawford to be the smaller fighter. What did Errol Spence say when they met up in Oklahoma? What did he say? Oh, he light in the ass. I bet he ain't saying that shit no more. I bet he ain't saying that shit no more. But back to the task, people. The hottest chat in the game. Am I right or wrong? Is Marty bringing up Mikey Garcia's performance against his favorite fighter, Errol Spence Jr.? Why didn't Marty, use Mikey Garcia as a reference who been in the snack program? Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because he ain't black. He ain't black. Mikey Garcia is not the target for disposal. You know what I'm saying? Mikey Garcia is not the target, the expendable target. Mikey's an asset. He's good for boxing. See, I see that going a lot on. They give every other boxing ethnicity the love and you know what I'm saying? They give them that caring type emoji that you look for. You know what I'm saying? They give them the affection and the respect. But in this whole time that he was talking, he never mentioned Mikey Garcia's performance with Errol Spence. You think I didn't know that already? I looked it up. When I heard this, I went digging and going through tunnels. I say, yeah, let me go check out this whole Demetrius Andrade thing and Caleb Plant. And look who I seen at the top. No doubt about it. But goddamn it, Mikey Garcia is right over there next to Caleb. Was Mikey Garcia a stronger than usual when he moved up from defeating Robert Easter at 135 pounds, past the 140-pound division into 147 pound, and went 12 rounds? Was snack the reason? Marty, if you're not willing to put Mikey Garcia up in the topic of discussion, you need to very well leave Terrence Bud Crawford alone, buddy. You need to leave him alone. There's no need for you to come over here on this platform and try to talk to me with the cadence that you talk to me. I will circle you up like it's a corral. We ain't talking about no boxing business. You can't bring no boxing business over here talking that. Let's talk about boxing. Make it make sense to me on what you all been talking about prior to the fight. I also have audio of you saying that what Crawford's going to do, since he's been, getting touched up by low-level opposition, and y'all busy mentioning Yorkis Gamboa 9 years ago. Y'all are mentioning still Gamboa, and y'all refusing to mention that Crawford knocked that man down several times during their fight. I can't make this up. Mikey Garcia is standing right there in front of you with a snack shirt on. But yet, Marty did not bring his name up once to question his performance. You know what he did? He brought up Manny Pacquiao. Why? Because Victor Conte has suspicion of him being on juice the entire career. So what does that have to do with Crawford? Oh, because Bud Crawford and Manny Pacquiao both fought in Vegas. He was trying to link it up like, hey, Vada, Insac, they got something going on over there. Because he wanna intro this as if it was no VADA testing. And the fight was over in Vegas. He wants to attempt to slide in there like a snail in salt bath, bubbling all up, leaving a trail behind. They say, hey, Manny Pacquiao didn't want to test for 3 fights. And that's why Victor Conte, you know what I'm saying? That's what brought suspicion. Victor Conte, the people were saying that Manny Pacquiao 3 fights in Vegas. They was concerned. No. They can't be concerned. Because it has nothing to do with Crawford's physical performance, vice Manny Pacquiao not wanting to take a drug test. You never said, but Crawford didn't want to take a drug test. You put it out there that Manny Pacquiao refused the drug test over in Vegas. And you also played the audio. You rolled the tape in Victor Conte's suspicion of Manny Pacquiao being on PEDs his entire career. You didn't say that about Crawford. You was talking about the last 3 fights because the people are curious about Bud Crawford. The people, these random people. I'm telling these aerosexuals, man. I'm telling you. I deem Marty as an aerosexual. Aerosexuals are the ones that go out as far as they want to go to smear Crawford's name and highlight a fighter, all because they want to be a part of the PBC. I'm letting y'all know. It's wild. Let's get to the end of this.
That Terrence Crawford used, and they're legal now, especially in Nevada.
Talking about the horsehair gloves.
Nobody's saying he's cheating, but it is legal.
Can't say he's cheating.
Because those were the same gloves, the horsehair kind, the MDXs, the MDX brand that he wore against David Amnesia.
So now, once again, he would sit up here and say, oh, I'm not saying he's cheating. I'm not saying he's cheating. But also he's insinuating that he's cheating. Because with David Avenesian, you said the man, when has he had a 1-punch knockout, right? That's what Marty said. He was insinuating the extra strength that Bud Crawford had in the last 3 fights. Because the people are concerned about that. But now he's bringing in horsehair gloves, the same one that he had with David Avenesian. I can't make this shit up. I can't make it up, y'all. But you see Mikey right there with the snack shirt on.
So nobody's accusing the Crawford of anything. Somebody in the chat said something about the gloves. You know what I mean?
Y'all don't fall for this. I'm not accusing him of anything. You know, he's just playing with y'all. I don't treat my listeners like they're ignorant and stupid. Like if I actually put 2 + 3, subtract 1, you know what I'm saying? Type of shit. It's just like 2 + 2. Okay. And then they say, oh, well, why you just didn't say 2 + 2? 13 times. I don't treat them like they stupid. When somebody say, oh, I'm not trying to do this, that's exactly what they're trying to do. It's easy. That's exactly what you was trying to do. You're talking about horsehair gloves. Now you're talking about the equipment. This entire encapsulation on this, what you're trying to place on Bud Crawford is despicable. It's despicable. Y'all are not even man enough to take it like and give this man his full just due without coming up with all this other propaganda, bro. Because that's what it is. Propaganda, agitprop.
So that's all I'm saying about the gloves. Because let me tell you why people are asking about the MDX version of the gloves with the lack of padding, and it has horsehair, which is legal to wear it, especially in Nevada. Because they seen the thumbnail that I put up, and they also saw the picture of the doctor. See, don't blame Manager Marty for this. All the facts coming down the line now. The ringside physician stepped inside the ring, and the doctor, the man was evaluating Errol Spence. And the photographer that was ringside took a picture of that, professional photographer.
What does professional photographer have to do with anything? Myself and Shaw News has taken pictures ringside. He can attest to that. What does a professional photographer have to do with it? Because we put out various pictures. And I never heard you, Marty, say, oh, WCS took a professional picture, and he, of all people, and Shot News has been ringside with ESPN blasting, and we have taken pictures of championship fights. You know what I'm saying? So me, I'm looking at it like, what does the doctor have to do with this? He did absolutely nothing but verbally asked Errol Spence how he was doing. I hope once I hit play, you don't say he did anything else than that, because telling people it was a professional photographer, who cares? It was on live TV when he popped in there in the 5th round. Who cares what the doctor did?
And you saw knuckles imprinted on the side of Errol Spence's temple.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dog. This guy's delusional. Did y'all just hear what he said? Knuckles was imprinted on the side of Errol Spence's head. Oh wow, oh me. They have did this to a black man. But when it's Deontay Wilder, he was making excuses. When Deontay Wilder had an imprint on his skull, it was an excuse because he couldn't take Tyson Fury defeating him. It was all excuses, they said, from Deontay Wilder. He never had no dent in his head. It's impossible. Oh, hell no. But what are y'all going to say about Marty? Y'all same experts that said Deontay Wilder was full of shit, right? So you need to take that FOS and come over here and do the exact same thing. You just heard him. He said a professional photographer took a picture, and Spence in the 5th round, y'all, had knuckle prints in his head from a fighter like Bud Crawford, look, who's never had one-punch knockout power. So that even leads me to this. He knocked this man down in the 2nd round. He knocked him down several times in the 7th. So how can somebody to be on snack, the ultimate supplement, how can he not keep him down though? How was he able to? Oh, because Spence is an elite fighter. I get it. Spence is an elite fighter, and therefore Spence was strong enough to get back up after the 5th round. Look, the fight didn't end to the 9th, y'all. Spence was able to continue with knuckle prints imprinted on his noggin. I can't make it up, y'all. Knuckle prints was indentation on the left side of Errol Spence's noggin, his cranial cap. I cannot make this up. This is from Marty. He's not the manager tonight. We ain't talking about numbers. This ain't business. This ain't business. This is what you call bullshitting. It kind of gives you a flavor of being the same business, bullshitting, kind of rhymes a little bit, but this is what you call besitting, BSing. He said Errol Spence had an imprint on his head. Anybody in the chat? God damn it. I'm trying to find out if anybody got an imprint on his head, because I look in this picture with these MDX horsehair gloves and I'm asking myself, dang, can I see knuckle prints? I don't see no knuckle prints. And not only that, y'all, WCS is basically putting it out there that when the fight ended, Crawford went over there to the corner. He went over there just like Luis Resto. You know what I'm saying? But Luis Resto, he knew he had been cheating. He fucked around and let Billy Collins grab that glove and say, oh shit, it's barely any padding in here. What the fuck is going on? And then Panama Lewis tried to talk his way up out of there and they confiscated the gloves, y'all. They impounded the gloves and then they found out that the gloves was tampered with. Derrick James actually tried to fake like he was dapping Crawford up, and they grabbed the gloves. At that moment, Derrick James could have relived history. He could have absolutely accused Team Crawford as being tampered, their gloves being tampered. They could have proved it. Oh man, it's looking a little soft. Commission. I think you should impound those gloves. I think you should impound the glove. I think they're missing some padding in them. Did it happen? No. So why are you up here trying to convince people that this man has knuckle prints in his head? Marty, I can't respect this, bro. I know I spoke on it for over 2 hours, but I know some people are gonna understand and hear some valid points that I made about you being full of shit. When you're talking about this particular topic, bro, it's FOS. Point blank, period, brother. It's no disrespect because we're talking boxing. It ain't personal. I'll tell you to your face if you was down here. We was talking boxing. I'll say, brother, you know you was on some bullshit, period. You know dang well that had nothing to do with no business, and you was out here just putting agitprop out here. Man, come on, you better than this, Marty. You have basically sat down. You have basically grabbed the saddle and start riding the same horse that you was accusing Blue Blood Sports of doing. You have become him, bro. That's fucked up. You have become him. The same person that you was criticizing, that you was doing live streams on. You have become him. Wow, bro. Man, shout out to everyone in the chat, man. Miguel said they can't accept reality. They can't, bro. Green on deck. I see you. I call him by his government name. Them glasses came off. Stop playing with me, boy. I seen him in person. Oh, man. God damn, dog. Yeah, I remember him being called his government name, but look, that's the personal aspect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here for personal shit. Juice Lee, what's good? Thanks for the $5 super chat, my brother. One love to you. And definitely appreciate you pulling up and supporting the channel as always, man. He said, Minister Marty, just mad he got into Arrow Ponzi scheme too late and couldn't cash in. He's a charlatan and a grifter. Damn. I haven't heard a charlatan in a long time. Okay then. Tyrese, man, appreciate you. One love to you, brother. Thanks for the donation. He said, Marty connecting imaginary dots per the business. Man, there wasn't no business in this thrashing. It wasn't no business, y'all. It wasn't no business. He was just, look, he's talking to listeners with that nonsense, bro. He's talking to business with that nonsense. Hold on, let me finish it up right quick. Hold on, y'all. Hold on now. Let me go back.
I mean, Earl Spence already let us know that his mouthpiece wasn't a great mouthpiece in his mouth. So I mean, I think people just throwing around hurt like a frisbee or some fried toast or whatever the case. Crawford he did back in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? So it's a KO that he actually cheated in the fight against David Avenesia with those hot pocket gloves. Talking about that Terrence Crawford been knocking out people or got power, whatever. You know, Terrence Crawford fought 7 fights at 147. Terrence Crawford had 6 TKOs and he had 1 KO that he actually cheated in the fight against David Avenesia with those hot pocket gloves.
So this is Marty's co-host that is making an accusation that Crawford cheated. How is that per the business? This is an insult. As black men, as black content creators, this is an insult because that is your co-host that you did not correct. That means you co-sign off this rhetoric and you allowed it to continue to stay up and let other people listen to this rhetoric. You didn't say it wasn't. That's the whole point you was trying to make. I have to say D-Town has more cojones than you because he just sit up here and said, oh man, those hot pocket gloves, he cheated in David Avenesian fight. You, on the other hand, you want to pretty much put, tiptoe into it and say, oh, I want to compare this to freaking the snack program and him having freaking knockout power. When has he ever had one punch knockout power? So once again, I ask both of you, which one is it? Is it the hot pocket gloves or was he on snack? All y'all seem like you trying to do is come up with rhetoric and agitprop. You're trying to come up with defamatory false accusations on this man to make it seem like what you're saying is true. That's fucked up, man. Y'all on a smear campaign again. You're no better than all the other ones that do this shit, bro. You're no better than the ones that you was up here criticizing.
So, I mean, the meaning between TKO and the meaning between KO is two different things. It's not the same he did to David Avenesia when he couldn't get back up. So when people saying that Terrence Crawford has KO'd everybody at 147, no, he didn't. He only KO'd one person. So,
and you're a casual boxing fan. You don't know shit about boxing, bro. You don't know shit about boxing. You understand me, D-Town? You the one that was up here saying that I was defeated. And I was saying defeated. I didn't know I was in a competition. You don't know shit about boxing, brother. Let me help him out. Because we still have individuals out here like D-Town parading around here and pretending like he know about boxing. And that man don't know shit about boxing. Truth be told, that man don't know shit about boxing. Do you remember this, D-Town? And let me take this down right quick. Do you remember this, D-Town? Technical knockout, sometimes abbreviated to TKO, is when a referee believes that a fighter can't remain in a fight safely and the fight is brought to a close. So you're trying to tell people that it wasn't a KO when a fighter can be absolutely more coherent than a fighter that is involved in a technical knockout and the referee deemed him unsafe to continue. They can be absolutely out on their feet trying to get up. They beat the count and they can be standing there and the referee looks them in the eye and deems them, oh man, no, you can't continue. But they're on their feet. Vice, opponent can be on the knee. They can be on their back. Anyway, not every opponent is the way David Avenesia is, okay? I use Ryan Garcia as a perfect example. At the count, he missed the count and got up and walked right back to his corner. Right back from a body shot. So you're going to deem Tank Davis knocking out Ryan Garcia. It's on his box record as a KO. But you're going to say Ryan Garcia was in worse condition than Errol Spence? He was in worse condition than Sean Porter, who father stopped the fight? That's crazy.
I'm trying to figure out what power did he have. Last time I checked, Kell Brooks said that Errol Spence had more power. Last time I checked, Sean Porter said he was hurt in the Errol Spence fight. So I'm not understanding what people are talking about. I understand people, they're looking in a different lens.
This is a guy who's been in the padded room too long. They were supposed to come unlock, him from the wall, and they forgot. He went through a hunger, food deprivation. He went through some damn weight changes. By the time they discovered him a month later, he had significant brain damage. This cannot be real. Listen to this dude talk about all this, what Kell Brooks said and all this. Dude, you've been listening to the wrong person. You need to venture off into other, just like you did me. You came on there and commented on my shit. You need to venture off in other people's chat and listen to what they got to say. You got to really pay attention, brother.
But I know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that when it come down to Terrence Crawford understanding that he gonna understand everything that everybody else said when they jumped in the ring with Errol Spence. When Mikey Garcia jumped in the ring, Danny Garcia and all these Dennis Ugas and them guys that had a plan. They knew Errol Spence. I know what I see. I know how to stop him. I know how to do this. They get in the ring, it's something totally different. And like I said, I'm not taking nothing away from Terrence Crawford.
They always say they're not taking nothing away from Terrence Crawford. This is a psychological problem. This is mental health, y'all. These individuals think like this in real life. This is a condition that needs therapy.
We don't know what Terrence Crawford actually could do because he ain't been in the ring with a prime Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? That's already been talked about. Kell Brook wasn't ready when he fought Terrence Crawford. He had to drain down from 154 to 147.
Do you hear this freaking rhetoric? This is why I had to zip it up with this, because it's hilarious, y'all. It's absolutely insulting to believe that the YTC is harboring fugitives that don't know shit about boxing. D-Town, you know, I'm telling the absolute truth. It may hurt, but what the F are you talking about? He wasn't fit. He had way more time before he dropped down to fight your boy Errol Spence, bro. You know this.
You see what I'm saying? That dude, he didn't even train like he was supposed to. The man stayed at a certain distance that gave Terrence Crawford Kell Brook. He stopped Kell Brook in 4 rounds, and he stopped David Avenesian in 6 rounds. You telling me David Avenesian is better than Kell Brook? I'm just saying, I'm seeing things a different way than everybody else.
Talk your shit, brother. You sound stupid. You seeing things different because you're not even freaking allowing your mind to be open to the other boxing content. You're not, man. You are the person that stay there and grab a roll of toilet paper and unroll it, right? You'll spin the whole motherfucking roll off to the end, and then you'll re-roll it and get pissed off that it doesn't look like the way it did before you initially rolled it. You think, oh shit, why is it like that? All I did was unroll it. I didn't use it. I should be able to re-spin it back the opposite way and it roll back the same. You see stuff different. You're right. You're right, dog. Because it made no sense what you was freaking talking about. Kell Brook weight drained himself. Oh my God, the narratives, bro. But my people, man, this shit gotta stop. This shit gotta stop. Kell Brook said to himself that weight was an issue with the Spence fight. They don't want to hear that, man. They don't want to hear that. Shout out to everyone that pulled up tonight, man. We like at 2.5. The internet is a dangerous place. Yes, it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? MD said Marty is a professional bullshit artist. Man, he's doing the same shit that he was getting on Blue Blood for. The same shit, y'all. He's doing the exact same thing that he's getting on Blue Blood for. You can't get on Blue no more. You're doing the exact same thing, clickbaiting. Wow. Wow. Whoever said that Ponzi scheme shit, oh my God, you ain't never lied, bro. No, they just upped the doses. They doubled down on the stupidity in Mad Dog 2020. Marty should be more concerned with why Errol allowed himself to get hit by 60% of Crawford's power punches. Talk that shit, man. That is factual. We just don't say facts over here just because somebody said something from the chat. They're actually putting facts in the chat. Facts in the chat, man. Come on, bro. This is asinine listening to that shit, bro. Minister looking for a tombstone. You know what I'm saying? Time to cremate. No, man, like it's not personal with Marty, man. He just on some other shit. He's going through some stuff, man. Just like I put up here, man. This has something to do with mental health, bro. This is a mental collapse on what we're looking up, playing out on him. This is a mental collapse. These people are joining together to talk on a topic that they don't believe. They're investing time to speak on a topic that they don't believe, bro. They don't believe this shit. He ain't believing none of that. He tried to dress this up all with Novada testing. And when it all came down to it, what he's really trying to say is pretty much that he want to accuse Crawford of cheating because he beat up Errol Spence the way he did. That's all. And the way he's going to try to do that is talk about Snack. And what he left off is what I zipped up at the end. Mikey Garcia, you left him out moving up. I think that's way more extreme than any point you made. Mikey Garcia moving up 2 weight divisions. You talk about somebody moving down 2 weight divisions. Mikey moved up 2 weight divisions and didn't get stopped. Jeff Horn followed Manny Pacquiao, who supposedly been doping his whole career. But yet Bud Crawford comes in here and beat the superhero. He comes in here and beat the superhero Jeff Horn in his first fight at 147 pounds. How? How, Sway? How is that possible? Why he didn't bring up Crawford beating Jeff Horn? You know why? Because they think Jeff Horn is low-level opposition. They're not putting scenarios together like I am. They're not going to sit up here and investigate the shit like I am. They wouldn't have put that Manny Pacquiao situation together based off what criteria he was trying to put out to the public. You said Manny Pacquiao was juicing his whole career, but he got knocked out in his 12th professional fight. KO per D-Town boxing. He don't know what technical knockout and a knockout is still the same. Adjective and a noun, dress it up, still a fucking knockout. It's still a knockout. Come on, man. How long you been watching boxing? How long have you been watching boxing, brother? This is Justin dudes trying to continue to capitalize off Crawford's hate to keep them super chats coming. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Bud playing with Gamboa is the truth. After that fight, them aerosexuals were crying harder than Ace Ventura when he found out Finkel was. Oh my God, man. We talk about Ace Ventura. What? D-Town used to be on a short yellow bus with one of those hats with a helicopter propeller on the top. Oh man, you wrong for that. God damn, man, you wrong for that. I appreciate you, Thor. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Bud don't use drugs. Errol, a known alcohol and drug abuser. He admitted to that. He admitted to that, man. The moment Errol steps into a ring after the Neuralink implant activation, it would be like a symphony of speed and precision, leaving his opponents bewildered and audience utterly spellbound. You know what I'm saying? They're going to say, hey, just because nobody else thought about the Neuralink, you can't put that blame on Errol. Errol, the first one, the first boxer to be implanted with the Neuralink. Look at him. Oh, my God. They turned back to the test of time. His speech is even improved. Look at that jab. It's like we always expected. Look at it. It's so punctual. It piercing through the guard. Look at that jab piercing through the guard. Oh, my God. He's back. Mama, he's back. Jesus Christ. Can't make this up. Them dudes hurt and just flat out hate Bud. They do, right? Porter beat Spence in the rematch. Been saying, hey man, the way he looked on Saturday, it'll still be a pretty decent scrap. Real talk. If it, due to Porter's fighting style, depending on what fighting style Porter used, I'm pretty sure he won't go out there and just be, come forward, pressure, brawling ass style. He won't do that. But appreciate y'all pulling up, man. You know what I'm saying? Educate yourselves out here in these YouTube streets. I know a lot of you all are, but don't let nobody like him come up here and try to feed you that crazy shit, man. That crazy shit. Real talk. It don't make any sense, that crazy stuff, man. Like what you heard, with this suspicion, it made no sense, man. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because he was criticizing Blue Blood for doing the exact same thing he's doing. Clickbaiting. He want to sit up here and talk about, no, it wasn't clickbaiting. Yes, it was, because you can't prove it. Everything you're talking about is based off on-the-fly speculation. You produced no documentation. None at all. I expected you to roll the tape on these people. These people. I want to speak on the identity. I wanted clarification to the specification. Clarify the shit. That's what I wanted. We wanted clarification. You said the people. We don't know who the people are. You say you've been behind the scene. Who is the people? We don't know what people you're talking about. You just talking. Man, y'all hold it down, man. Continue to be the hottest chat in the game. Appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. One love. Continue to support. Hit the like button. Out the door. We should do it again. I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.